semi-final in Mexico. So that's why it doesn't feel like a new map. Now, Virtus.Pro picking into Consulate makes a lot of sense. They like the map. BDS, looked okay on it yesterday, but Virtus.Pro last time they played it got a 7-0. Kafe, in terms of BDS's map pick, makes a lot of sense. All the way back in stage 1 of EUL, BDS needed a 7-1 to make the playoffs in EUL stage. They got a 7-2 on that day, but they absolutely slaughtered Virtus.Pro. So both map picks make sense. Then we go through to Clubhouse, which is a map that both teams historically absolutely love. Not a great run of form domestically for both teams on it, but they will be happy playing it.
Yeah, obviously Clubhouse historically amazing for Virtus.Pro, but when these two met throughout stage 2, they met on Clubhouse, and that was a 7-1 victory for BDS.
That's the only caveat.
Exactly.
VP did very well recently on it.
And I think if you look at the historical head-to-head, right now, I said this was the 15th meeting, so that there's been 14 others before. They're 7-7. If you also count the times that they were Team Empire way, way back in the day, that plus their VP record, both of them in both best of 1s and best of 3s, their series record against one another is dead even at 7 wins apiece. So whoever wins this not only goes to quarterfinals, but also breaks that tie. And that's something that, that's been going since Pro League days back in, I think, late 2019.
Yeah.
Pro League Season 10 is how long these guys have been going at each other's throats. That's crazy to think of by itself.
And I think it's also crazy in the context of current Siege with a lot of teams. We have new teams, we have roster transfers. These are basically the same two teams from like 4 years ago. With the addition of, Pasha and Leaky Fact, basically, they are the same core rosters. There's 8 major winners between these two teams.
All right, we're going to Consulate first. Gentlemen, any takes on who wins map 1?
I think we see the map picks go towards the teams. They know each other very well. I think we're going to see VP take the very first map.
Yep.
General expectation is that. However, I am going to say I think BDS does it in 2.
Based on that Sonics game from yesterday, you think?
I think they've just got that added motivation of SI. They're starting to heat up. Shaiko's starting to heat up individually, and that's very hard to stop.
All right, it's time for the do or die day to begin. BDS and Virtus.Pro, one of them is going to the Atlanta Major stage, and the other one, in just a short couple of hours, is going home. It'll be James Dev Marta Stewart and Mandy Daughter Powers with the call.
Thank you very much. Yes, it is the European derby. It's Joystick versus Shaiko. It is a fantastic match between VP and BDS. We're about to jump into it. Map 1, an elimination game, higher pressure than ever. BDS fighting for their place at SI. If they lose this game, that goes down the drain. For VP, their first time going to the main stage in nearly 2 years. This is a grudge match, if anything.
Yeah, too much is on the line here for BDS to lose, and I think it's completely fair to say that with SI on the line. I'm actually going to lean into what Jack said. I think that BDS are going to have to do this one in 2. They certainly will have the energy going into it. It matters so much that they can't afford to lose it.
Very true. Now, BDS smashed Virtus.Pro in Stage 1 of the EU League, but then VP won in the rematch in the European Grand Final in Stage 2 and stole the SI points away from BDS that they would have needed to secure 6 Invitational. 1 win each means that this is a grudge match and a score settler. And it's also for a spot here on the main stage in Atlanta.
Consulate is going to be the first battlefield that we play on between these two teams. It isn't one of the maps that they actually played in the grand final against each other, so we're seeing these two teams play on each other, against each other fresh for the first time on this map, and the ban phase is going to fly by us ever so slowly, but Dokkaebi and Finger being taken out does mean that all your hard breach has slipped its way in, but 1 set of grenades being taken out. I'm not sure exactly what to read into that. It is a Virtus.Pro ban. It makes me think like maybe they want to ban out like a Renshiro ban or something since he's been trying to lean into the Finker, but like, I mean, Sledge is up, I'm not sure exactly what was taken out of there, but I don't want to read too much into it.
One interesting note that the guys on the desk were talking about is how Joystick from Virtus.Pro has really struggled to deliver this event. He's one of the best fraggers, one of the best players of all time, but since Yana was nerfed, losing her grenades, he's had to try and play these other operators like Finker and Gridlock, and he's actually really struggled this tournament. He's -5 on entry, I think he's -15 or something like that on kills. Maybe Virtus.Pro are like, look, if Joystick can't play it well, we may as well get rid of it.
Interesting. I actually quite like that take. I think that might be the right one, to be honest. If you cannot play it yourself, you may as well take it away from your enemies. And as we jump straight into the game, you can see immediately Joystick actually jumping onto the Ashe. When you look at the lineup of the attack at the moment, there isn't a single grenade in the lineup.
Well, Ashe is a fantastic operator for your fraggers, especially if you're used to that old Yana role, because it's the exact same gun. G36C with the 1.5 times scope. Ashe, in a way, even better for fragging because she's slightly faster. However, the loss of the nades is the big weakness over the old Yana or Finka, for example, or even a Knock. But I think for Joystick, you just want him to be able to have those multi-kills, have those backstacks, have those lurk impacts. So I think this is the right choice for VP, especially on the basement where you might not need nades for vertical kills.
I agree with that. Get comfy and see what you can go with. That's the VP way. They like to run at you with their own game. They really play into their own strengths, and I think putting Joystick on something that he's comfortable with is probably the right move. That being said, looking at their attacking lineup right now, it does look like they are leaning into something a little more direct, going straight into the bomb site. Shepard on that Monty is going to be the one with the diffuser in hand, in tandem with Dan, to trying to work this wall early.
Very frequently we see teams open up this wall and then rotate away. Perhaps the Monty is suggesting something different. If not a direct push, at least a hint of one. The threat that Virtus.Pro could be on site in mere moments.
Oh, Mirror Window, though, is going to face the onslaught as it comes through. It is Joystick, the spear of the push, who makes his way on in, but shut down by Renchiro.
In fact, it seems like all of Virtus.Pro has been shut down. They drop one by one. A nice attempt at an execute from VP. They had the Capitão's fire and smokes ready to try and counter this push, but it did not work, and the vertical superiority from Shaiko will completely shut down Dan. All up to Always now, with 4 kills yet to find, and he doesn't have that diffuser either. There's information for him based on Shaiko getting that kill earlier, but Always has a hint that there might be another player. Speaking of info, there's BDS spotting him out, and Likafak will surely secure this kill.
Yeah, it's all down to Always now, and it seems like the eyes of BDS are trained on his position, but really I just feel like this is a BDS round through and through. They had a pretty good read, I would say, on the direct attack that was coming through. They immediately recalled a lot of those plays back into the bomb site the moment that Renchiro saw the wall being opened and all the utilities start flooding through. It just felt like BDS collected themselves very fast into that early round and shut them down.
Yeah, very versatile for BDS. Ready for anything, which is important on a map like Consulate, which is so huge and has so much potential for the attackers to get quick map control. It means you have to contest that roam game. But also, if you're all roaming and a site rush like what we saw from VP comes through, you need to be ready for that. BDS have demonstrated that they can juggle both of those tasks at the same time. And as a result, a very solid start to their defense.
BDS certainly happy with that one. I'm going to send us up into the top floor for the second bomb site and looking to make an extension over ever so slightly in towards the Soda hallway. That being said, it's not exactly aided by too much. It's not like a big Azami shield setup. So even though the extension is going to be a little bit light with 3 reinforcements dedicated over into break room, it's probably going to be a pretty early fall from these guys.
We've seen so much chaos go down on this admin side of the map around break room. Like the vertical lines of sight and the reinforcements being committed to by BDS here, making it very hard for Virtus.Pro to establish a beachhead. And even if they are able to do so in admin, then progressing that beachhead further towards the bomb site will be extremely challenging. There's so many good power positions on the top floor for the defense to peel away.
Have a look at the lineup there on the side of the attack for Virtus.Pro. Joystick's going to jump onto the Amaru, so looking for something fast-paced. Not just that, but it's also in tandem with Dan. Jumping onto the Ying as well, one of those disruptor operators as they make their way in through the map. One set of grenades this time around on Pasha, just in case they need that explosivity to clear anything out.
Yeah, what is this idea? Very execute-heavy operator lineup, like you said, but it's not telegraphed as of yet where that will end up flying through. I mean, Joystick, for example, on the Amaru has a lot of options for windows. Sheppy here on this main console window with Pasha to support, nades and track stingers in pocket. There is clearly some execute here prepared, and as we hear, the E1D goes out. Joystick goes straight on in and takes down Bride. He's looking for a second kill. It's all up to him to cover, but this plant will surely go down. There is no way for BDS to deny it. And now they must retake. Shepard's found one. A beautiful execute early in the round from Virtus.Pro finds a significant advantage. However, Joystick is still in the site and can shut down not one, but 2 people for BDS. All up to Shaiko now. He sprung to life earlier and found a kill to take down Shepard, but he'll need a whole lot more than that. Joystick for the 4K. And a fantastic round from Virtus.Pro.
Oh my god, Brede was not ready for that, man. He had a boot to the face the moment that the Amaro went in. I don't think we've ever seen an Amara Gara hook kill in Pro League. Surely not, right? Like, when has that ever happened? That is absolutely nuts. From Joystick, no fear, jumps his way straight on in and slaughters the entire defense. 4 kills with the SMG-11. Like, could you ask for anything more?
We've talked about how Joystick has not been performing up to his standard in this tournament so far. If there's any time to fire up, how about in an elimination and main stage qualification game? Let's have a look from his POV. Brede thought he was ready for it. And we'll get to see all 4 of these kills from Joystick. 3 very clean shots with the SMG-11 after that gyro hook kill. Absolutely insane stuff.
That's nuts. What a round from Joystick, man. I mean, the rest of his team absolutely collapsed off the back of that, and BDS just could not deal with him, really. It was just sharpshooting. That second shot with the SMG-11 was so nice.
10 seconds
Oh,
to
wow.
go.
Good signs from VP with that successful rush. But we've actually seen 2 back-to-back rushes, Mandy. 1 failed and 1 successful. It makes you wonder, is this the tempo that VP is looking to set? Is this going to become a regularity? Because for many teams, a rush is a one and done. We try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Then we go back to playing normally. But judging by the operator lineup, this could be a regular occurrence in this game for VP.
No, but I reckon BDS on the other side, they've made the adaptation for it. They've got both the combination of the Melusi and the Fenrir now, and they've changed the bomb site into the ground floor as well. So any way in that Virtus.Pro will try and claim of the map, or at least any way into the bomb site that they try and claim in, will certainly be heard by some of the passive intel that's been set out by BDS.
It does seem to be VPS looking to push in from this admin side of the map. We've got Pasha and Shepard there at the moment, but VP have a fairly separated attack with some players also loitering on the other side of the map, and Joystick with the gyro hook in pocket is always ready for an explosive push. But I think this is the right move, Mandy. VP need to get a little bit of map control, even if that is just admin.
Always does have the buck as well, so if they do actually make work of this top floor, he can get in and then start to tear up the floor with the skeleton key. But on the other side of the push that's happening at the moment is Brede and Leaky Pack doubling down in the soda hallway, but Pasha's going to force him back.
Good beachhead now established for VP on the back of Pasha, especially since he's got these air jabs, he can prevent any form of retake. But like we said before, BDS have a lot of power positions they can fall back onto. Quite a few VP players have now made their way forward. Very quickly, they've capitalized on this map control.
Renshiro holding on to long test as well is going to be the first point of contest for the defense at the moment, as he's looking to take these engagements of players just rounding the corner of the soda hallway. That being said, though, Joystick is on the other side of the bomb site, having to think about whether he can actually hit the bomb site at the moment. There is a player that's keeping him at bay on the other side, as a flashbang's going to sail through, and Joystick's going to move in off the back of that.
Right into the side for Joystick, and under the cover of the sound from the Candelas, he finds Brede caught prone. And the entirety of BDS has been collapsed upon. It's up to Renshiro, or rather Alems, and he goes down very swiftly. Just Leakafak on the bottom floor, rather, as the players from VP have dropped down. They have cut him down. How about a flawless round? And another amazing execute from VP.
Yeah, another super clean clear of the top floor. It wasn't even the bomb site. They just decided to make this super explosive entry off the back of Joystick into the top floor with the space that they had gained over on admin side. And it was so explosive that even though BDS had the sort of like passive intel tools that they needed to deal with it, they were just not ready for it. They're completely caught off guard. Virtus.Pro get the top floor control, and then at that point, it's a 1 versus 5. It's unwinnable for BDS.
It's a very scary playstyle to come up against, isn't it, Mandy? With VP so unpredictable. At a moment's notice, you could have 5 players rushing your direction.
It's quite a fun one to watch. I've certainly been enjoying it for VP. The thing I like the most about what they've been doing is that a lot of their ideas and things like that, especially where they're injecting Joystick into the building, is not that telegraphed. Like, yes, you can have all this set up from BDS, but in the end, if they don't have the right read on the one entry point that Joystick is going to be in, then they're not going to be able to shut him down. And I think the rest of Virtus.Pro are doing just such a good job at distracting the remaining players of BDS to then allow Joystick into the building.
We were having a little bit of a chat with the rest of the talent team this morning, Andy, about Virtus.Pro and how they make these calls. Who is it from the team that is just making these snapshot decisions and saying, okay, we're going to have Joystick quickly go in with the gyro hook through Console while we're pushing from this angle. And Pasha was the name that came up, because while Shepard is an instrumental support player, as we can see with that beautiful shot he's just made, taking down not one, but both mirror windows with a single Twitch drone, he is a fairly quiet player, and it's actually Pasha who's being relied upon for a lot of this calling.
Really good value so far of Shepard on the back of the Twitch drones, and it does mean that Virtus.Pro, even though they've actually lined themselves up to go for a map clear, they've got Joystick on the Jackal this time, so not as fast-paced as your Maru, but still, you know, looking to get that roam cleared down. Now with those two mirror windows open, they can have a think about the bomb site if they want to. That being said, it doesn't look like they're going to do it anyway. It looks like the rest of Virtus.Pro are looking to pivot in towards the map clear.
Oh, Bride has opened the equation, however, and that's a good early advantage for BDS, and a much-needed one, taking down Dan, who's been pretty good so far. A well pre-placed C4. Not sure what the information to gather was based on that. Perhaps a Fenrir gadget, I'm not sure. But regardless, an early pick for the French.
With the hatch being open inside of Expo, they can't really hit the bomb site straight away, and so the rest of VP are having a think about whether they can actually clear the map. So there goes Pasha. Having opened up the wall, has now pivoted over to CEO to be the first set of boots in the building. Oh, but there goes Alems. Really nice shot onto Always as well to claim the second one.
Uh-oh, and there is a trade, however, with Pasha coming in from above. It's possible that Alems has done enough here. However, now that he's been traded, a 3v3 with both of the mirrors popped and a breach on the garage wall sets up VP in a really solid position to battle this out.
This is a really nice free cam as well. Very good. I can't remember who's on. Is it easy on the free cam only nowadays?
I'm not sure who's on.
I reckon that's pretty cool.
I don't think it's Stay Fun any longer.
Oh, it's Medics on free cam. Good job, Medics. Very nice. Okay, Shepard, he's really having to think about the bomb site now. He knows that these two mirror windows are open, so the rest of the defense has probably fallen a little bit further back than they would like to, or they're playing behind the safety of a soft wall, which is really quite vulnerable now to Pasha over in the top floor.
Oh, Shepard, he moves in. He's walking into a crossfire. Pasha drops the hatch. Here's a C4 for ya. A big one from Renshiro, who also claims the final life of VP. He's very hyped about that one. And BDS have stemmed the bleeding, and they've evened up the scoreline once again.
That's twice now in the basement that Virtus.Pro haven't been successful at landing an attack, and BDS look pretty comfortable in their setup. Virtus.Pro, I liked what they did, like put the pressure on the bomb site, you know, see if you can recall back any of the BDS players, but they knew that they had the safe haven of the ground floor with the hatch open and the vertical for Shaiko as well, and they just held on to that, allowed Virtus.Pro to then go in for the map clear and just play the fall-off game back into the bomb site. And as they tried to make their execute work, they absolutely shut them down. Even with the mirror windows open, it is still a pretty lethal hole to take them down on.
Yeah, especially when BDS are so ready for those crossfires, and when they're so proactive, things like the C4 from Renshiro really put the nail in the coffin for VP that round. That said, I've still really enjoyed watching these VP attacks, Mandy. I think they bring a certain spice and a certain energy that we see so rarely from teams in this current meta who are so careful on their attacks and so slow. It feels like so frequently we're looking at 4 versus 4s or 5v5s in the last 30-second with executes, because the attack has to spend so much time clearing positions, taking map control, droning up areas, getting stuck because there's a Solace on the other side, and then eventually having to clear Fenrir gadgets or whatever there is. So I love the pace from VP.
Consulate's the map to do it on as well. Like, by the time that you hit inside the building, there's so much intricate drone work you need to do to make sure that the map is then clear as well. So if you're able to set the tempo, like what Virtus.Pro have done right at the beginning, it's certainly setting the tone of the game for BDS, who are going back into this top floor, have changed up their strategy a little bit. They have actually brought along the shield on Leaky back, and they've put it inside the, I believe it's in the soda hallway, to then actually support this player inside. That's Renshiro on Luomai a little bit further as the sweep comes across from Virtus.Pro. That being said, Virtus.Pro, they're not going for that same like explosive attack like we've seen them do twice, but they're dialing it back a little bit, and they're going for the slow clear across through admin.
Which is a nice idea, but Mandy, the concern for me is, like you were saying, all this setup from BDS will need to be cleared. And as soon as, for example, Renshiro starts to be pressured, he'll fall back and he'll just go play behind the shield. Once his shield gets taken down, he'll move back again and play behind the desk. So there's so many different options here for BDS, and VP have to make sure that they make regular progress in this round.
I actually don't mind this from BDS. Like, to be honest, maybe this is a bit overthinky from me, but I do feel like BDS in the last defense they had of this actually had the right read. That Virtus.Pro were going to go for something more direct. They just couldn't land the shots because Joystick is nuts, right? This time around, I think they've run into the fact that VP are dialing down the tempo a little bit, and this time they're bringing along the setup in the Soda hallway that we didn't see last time. Now, that nade to sail on through, I believe, did destroy out the long bar, but not the shield that Renshiro's on. I could be wrong about that as well, but it does mean that some of that setup inside the Soda hallway will remain standing as Virtus.Pro make their way on in.
Now, Kafe continues his roam down below. It looks like VP are not actively hunting him, but Dan is certainly considering it as he gets his boots in the building. Elsewhere, VP will have to have an impact breaking through this hallway because as of yet, they've failed to capitalize on Renshiro's position, who is still loitering around the front desk.
They've got the shield though. That's one step away for Virtus.Pro as they start to entrench their way on through the building. BDS just taking a ton of damage, but it's Kafe taking a deal with Pasha on the other side.
Yeah, this is really dangerous now for VP as Kafe found a very advanced position. He needs to be traded swiftly. Dan was far too late, but he has clawed one back, taking down BDS. He will look to try and confirm this with the breaching round from the Ash, which is worth it in the end. But Dan is just relying on Shepard as his only remaining teammate, and Kafe is in such a precarious position, hiding around the corner. It only takes a single pellet to finish off Shepard. Kafe has single-handedly stolen this round from Virtus.Pro, and he closes it with a nice close quarters shot with a shotgun. Fired up once again for BDS as they take the lead.
They're certainly starting to match the tempo of Virtus.Pro in these attacks. They had the super fast-paced stuff to play against early on, but now that Virtus.Pro are dialing it back a little bit, BDS know how to deal with it. And the setup that they had inside of the Soda hallway, they held onto in the most absolutely relentless way. Even though the shield went down, Renshiro called, we still need people contesting this long desk position because the push is so linear. And then they called over 2 or 3 of those BDS players to come in and look for the swings on top of Visa stairs. There was a double swing that came out through what's it called, like the meeting hallway, like the little meeting hallway, and they took the fight to Virtus.Pro as they went in for the push through break.
And this was a real round-winning play for Kafe. He comes back off of his roam and finds, in the end, I believe, 4 kills in the round, taking down Shepard here, and then, of course, the closer onto Dan as well, as we get that nice little free cam. Just look at the intensity. I like to think that I know a little bit of French, but I don't know what he's saying.
No, I've got no idea, not clue.
Hopefully some of the staff here, a lot of the staff here speak French. Hopefully someone can translate for us because I would love to know. But the intensity from BDS, Mandy, to me is just a reflection of how high the stakes are in this game. Like we said, BDS lose here in this match to Virtus.Pro. Not only do they fail to make main stage in Atlanta, but they fail to make the 6th Invitational. And that is everything. In Rainbow Six, the one thing on your mind is always, will we be at the 6th Invitational?
Here's BDS on their final defense, and they've sent us over to Tellers and Server. I believe it is the split bomb site for the defense as Virtus.Pro look to do a top floor clear for now. Opening up the meeting wall, seeing what they can get. There is a little bit of a setup going down inside a break, although the resistance is not that much.
Shaiko's happy to loose roam, however. He will have to fall off sooner or later as Virtus.Pro look to clear that map control, and indeed Dan is already upstairs. Nice early breach as well onto this hatch, but yeah, speaking of, doesn't matter, there's no Valkyrie. The C4 is perfect, takes down Dan and the IQ's utility with it. Here comes Joystick looking for one as well, but Alems takes that 1 versus 1, steals it away, and gives BDS a 2-player advantage.
Very nice from Alems. He must have known that there was a drone over on this side of the map. Being the soloist, he could aid his own intel and then identify the 1 versus 1 onto Joystick. Leaky back on the bottom here, still with the pulse in hand, is going to be able to inform the remaining 2 C4s down in the basement as well. That's BDS and Renshiro, both of them with C4s in hand. As Virtus.Pro are going to need to be pretty careful as they move their way in through the top floor.
We had 2 amazing rounds from VP, especially that rush. And since then, BDS have completely turned it up. They've played very proactively. They have not let VP commit to the plan that they want to go for. And when BDS find these advantages, they just fall back.
Yeah, I mean, just have a look at how passive the rest of BDS are playing. Yes, the bomb site is on the ground floor, but almost all 5 players are on the basement right now. The only player that is actually on the ground floor at the moment is Shaiko, and he's just making sure that no one can get inside of Tells for free. The rest of them are just playing off the back of this intel. They don't want to give Virtus.Pro anything because they know that the time is ticking away, and they have all the vertical pressure from down below. There are so many lines of sight and 3 C4s, or 2 C4s left for them to deal with it.
It's gonna have to be a big impact now as VP drop down into the site. A straight-on jump, but another C4 lands, as does Shaiko's T5 with a quick headshot all up to Shepard now. Diffuser in pocket, and he finds the first pick of the round for his team. He'll need to do it all, however, for Virtus.Pro. He can't even land that shot there onto Alems, who is keen to swing and will find that headshot as well. The French dominate the first half of defense despite some valiant heroics from Virtus.Pro.
I gotta say, I love that bomb site. That bomb site is secretly my favorite one, the split one, because there are so many places that you can be as the defense. And yes, it is a tricky one to hold because you do need to hold on to a lot of the map. But I really liked the way that BDS played that, leaning into the vertical game. They knew that they had it, and they knew that the top floor players off the back of their early game success just needed to fall off, and that was it, really. I feel like off the back of the first 2 entry picks that came through from BDS, they just leaned into their strategy to close it out from there.
And here's that first C4. Like we were talking about, the Valkyrie ban does restrict a lot of information, but it certainly doesn't seem to restrict the amount of vertical C4s.
I mean, BDS banned their own Valkyrie.
Yeah, but they don't need it. They've got the pulse.
Yeah, really nice stuff. That being said, though, we do have a side swap, and Rainbow Six is the tale of 2 halves, as we like to say. And so we'll have to see if Virtus.Pro can find the same success that BDS did on their defending half.
The scary thing for me is that Virtus.Pro realistically only won rounds that were rushes, that were exciting mini executes or full-on executes in the mid-round.
5 seconds left.
And so we didn't see a single slow but sure push from VP that worked successfully. And I expect to see a lot more of that from BDS. They're much more of a team that will look for a tried and true approach rather than a high-risk, high-reward rush play. But it's Consulate and anything can happen.
The thing that I enjoyed about BDS's defenses was that even though Virtus.Pro set the tempo like right at the start, BDS then didn't like, you know, fall to that bluff. At Virtus.Pro, they really dialed back their tempo in the second half of the attacking phase, but then BDS had the right adaptations in their setups to deal with a slow push. They had the right setups for exactly what Virtus.Pro were bringing, and you would think that in that state where the mental residue of some of those rushes might, you know, persist a little bit, BDS show that it doesn't, and they have the good read against Virtus.Pro.
Toxins in position.
Yeah, I do wonder what VP will do on these defenses. Will they play a slower game? Look to consolidate picks. Ooh, this is a bit dangerous. That smoke grenade does eventually enable this breach, but I mean, the bomb site is on the other side of the map, so that's really a nice first step. There's a lot yet to be done, and Shepard still maintains Archive's control.
I don't mind this from BDS. It is forcing a little bit of a reaction from Virtus.Pro on the other side, as they are having to think about the pressure coming through from the back instead. Keep in mind that the core of this defense is once again the position inside of Expo, looking down the hatch. That's aided by the Castle of Always, who's sort of created a fortress on the interior of the map. Pasha, though, he's got an idea that someone is entering below him. That is Leaky Fac on the other side of the Visa double door, and it's going to hold this through the vertical.
Here comes the breach, and the impact lands despite crouching. Bride was not able to protect his exothermic charge, and this now means Alems is the only remaining hard breach, and he only has 6 pellets left, which will not be enough to make a walkable hole or even a crouchable hole on the main breach.
Technically, he can make like a funky crouch hole, if you know what I mean, like the you know.
A bit of a yikes one.
Yeah, a bit of a yikes one, as some might say in the comp setting. But here goes Bride anyway, in through Boiler. That being said, I don't think there's anyone there to just meet him on the other side yet. There are only 2 players on the bomb site as it stands. But keep in mind, what they really need to worry about is the vertical pressure from above. It's always above. And there goes Leaky Fac being taken down by Pasha.
Shaiko needs to win this fight, otherwise surely that's round done. However, he does take down Joystick, and now BDS have a salvageable position. However, time ticking on down means that they will require some massive picks. As Alems drops down into the side, he is able to trade out his teammate and get into a potential position to lock out a plant. Shepard, though, on the side, continues fighting tooth and nail. A flash comes his way, and Shaiko looks to plant. Alems the player to cover. Pasha comes back and takes down Shaiko, forcing Alems now to recollect that diffuser and fight for this round for BDS, but it does not look possible. 2 players from VP, and this should be a swift and easy denial there for Shepard. VP are not giving up as of yet, and they get within touching distance of BDS once again.
Oh man, BDS almost had that. At some point, Alems was dropping the Expo hatch, and I was like, how is Alems in the Expo room? How is he there? I always should have been there. And we didn't get to see it on cam, but at some point, Alems must have walked in through the ground floor off the back of Shaiko, getting his pick in the top floor, and managed to slaughter whatever defense was happening there. But the rest of the Virtus.Pro players were able to recall themselves back onto the bomb site and take down the planter as it was going down. It really felt like BDS almost turned the tide there, but Virtus.Pro, they kept their composure as the execute came through.
Well, it's a good start to the defense for VP, but it wasn't dominant at all, right? Like, that was a pretty touch and go round. Like you said, the fact that BDS were able to sneak some of their lurkers in really deep, and especially for Alems to be able to drop into sight and infiltrate VP's position, that's a scary notion for VP. But I'm not too worried as of yet. Like you said, Taylor 2 halves, and we haven't yet seen any of these other bomb sites. All we've seen is that garage one, and I have no idea how confident BDS are attacking this top floor.
I gotta say, it feels like, just from watching the first 7 rounds, that a lot of prep work has gone into this match between these two teams. Like, why is Pasha, with like 30 seconds left, still watching the Visa double door entry? Like, surely he knows that Leaky Fack is walking his way on through, and Leaky Fack on the other side's probably like, why is he still watching me doing this, you know? Especially on a operator like the Jackal as well. It just feels like somehow these two teams have got like such a good read on the style of attacks and like small entry points that can then turn the tide of the round.
That's the funny thing about lurking in Rainbow Six, right? At a professional level, because there's so much tape out there of how you like to play. And as a lurker, you do develop habits and, I guess, preferences of I like to enter here. Yeah, and routines, right? But the more routine you have, particularly in your lurking game, you become easier to read, because lurking is all about sneaking. And if they have a good read on where you might come from, you're likely to lose your life.
Top floor is going to be the second bomb side of choice for Virtus.Pro, as Shaiko's going to send out a bit of utility down the stars and try and clear out long desk, but Pasha is going to open things up once again onto Leaky Fack. Oh man, Leaky Fack just cannot get away from Pasha in this attacking half, and well, Pasha's going to get away with his life as well.
That said, BDS have got a good stronghold here, and Alems is teasing out some kind of a push using these Sen's gadgets to obfuscate some of those lines of sight that VP would like to use. However, Dan does have his smart glasses, and he will take down Alems. I believe that may have indeed been through the screen. 3 versus 5 now. BDS have really hit a wall.
I think you'd absolutely be right about that, Dan. He has repositioned himself in that top Visa position, and he's looking for the swing out into the Soda hallway to try and support his teammate Always.
Yeah, but however, there is still another player in Vending Machine. I believe that is Always in a really important position for VP. Shaiko desperately just looking for a pick, but he's taken so much HP damage. Indeed, Always has now been droned by Brede. But just because BDS know where he is doesn't mean they can clear him.
Yeah, there's no way. There's 2 of the Dread Mines over on the 2 entry points that Always has got protecting himself at the moment. Renshiro is going to be brave about it and try and shoot one out. That's a nice shot. But Always is still safe in his position. As the time ticks away, it's looking more and more like a Virtus.Pro round.
This is a good nade, though. It gets caught by the ADS. A beautiful setup from VP leaves BDS once again with more questions than answers. Always, he just needs to swing. And he's got a teammate as well to support. He's baiting, he's toying with him.
I just need help.
And he destroys Renshiro, looking for another one. Brede caught with his pants down. Shaiko must pick up the pieces for BDS, but he is simply being toyed with. Always knows full well he doesn't have to peek, but he may as well for the style points. Flawless for Virtus.Pro, and the scoreline is even once again.
Yeah, I think BDS really got stuck there. The 2 points of entry that they wanted to make work was the meeting balcony off the back of the Sens, and also then the push in through admin. And somehow, I think Dan was the perfect operator on the Warden, like you pointed out, to take the duel with the Sens. It was through the wall, out onto the meeting balcony. And then on the other side, Pasha from down below opens up the equation by claiming one of the kills on the players entering in from admin, and from there, they really just didn't quite have the manpower to make a a linear take like that work for them. BDS just had to sit still. Sorry, not BDS. Virtus.Pro just had to sit still, be comfy, and wait for BDS to come through. And that was a really nice 3K from Always to close it out.
And I'm liking what we're seeing from Joystick here. He looks extremely relaxed here, just having some water. The BDS guys don't have too much of a reason to be glum at the moment. It's just 2 rounds of attack that they've failed to win in a row. And especially that round just gone by, right, Manny? That really was all about the early engagements, right? And here's one of them, Dan finding that big pick outside onto the balcony. For BDS, tighten the ship a little bit in those early rounds and ensure that you're not giving away these early man advantages, because on your attacks on Consulate, it's very difficult to bring back a 3v5.
Tough spot. I mean, in that instance, you know, you're down so much in the man count. Do you then go and dedicate yourselves to like continuing doing the admin side, or do you then need to go for plays or something like that? I don't know what it is for BDS at the moment, but nevertheless, we have had a bit of a technical break as we jump back into the server.
Sadly, it means we're actually going to lose all of Alem's stats, but that's okay.
Now,
I don't know how he was doing. I'm glad that we got to keep Leakerfax though, because I distinctly remember at the end of the first half, he was 8 kills to just 2 deaths. That is an insane scoreline on your defensive half. He was really at home there. He had some great roams, some great re-aggressions. But of course, since moving to the attack, not a single kill and 2 deaths. Fairly impactless early on for BDS.
and both of them to Pasha as well. Man, Pasha is just like the bane in this guy's existence. Now, this is the start of round 9. Question 1. Will who is it again for? Will Leaky Back make it into the building without being taken down by Pasha? That's question 1. Now then, question 2 after that is then can they actually make their way in through the map? Because when you play on Consulate, playing through the mid rounds can be really tricky. There are a lot of rooms to clear. There's a lot to get done if you want full map control.
And this particular bomb site as well, we saw VP do that beautiful execute with Joystick coming in from the console windows while the rest of the players pushed in meeting.
I just want to say, I think it's kind of happening again, yo. Leaky Fag is over on the yellow window at the moment, and Pasha is on the other side inside of Zulu. I'm saying it. It's happening. It's happening.
That is scary. If I'm Leakerfac, I want to be extra careful this round, especially because of the incandelas which lay in his pocket. They will be instrumental for executing, clearing out a lot of these positions. I wouldn't mind seeing Alems get his Twitch drone in. As I say that, here it comes. Now, of course, not only is he going to be looking for dread mines here, but pivotally, those mirror windows. There are, however, some mute jammers impeding his way forward. He is able to get in, but yeah, he doesn't quite get it.
Yeah, Pasha sitting on the other side of the mirror window is going to take down the Twitch drone, and that means, well, at least BDS know that they have this side of the top floor to their control, of course, from the admin side, but they're going to have to do a little bit more work if they want to claim CEO as theirs.
Okay, here come the Candelas. Where is the push from BDS? Alems is starting to move on in. He's walking straight into a mirror window, but his smokes have dealt with that handily, forcing VP back. This is a very nice pinch. More Candelas and 2 kills for BDS as they dominate this top floor push. Shaiko has gone down, but he will be able to be picked up.
Really nice stuff. Mini execute into the top floor off the back of those Candela charges. And although Shaiko is down, like you pointed out, it is going to be safe pickup for Team BDS. And now it's a 5-on-3. Vertical game is in the hands of Renshiro right now as he tries to flush out the remaining players on the bomb site.
This is the next phase of the round for Renshiro, clearing out the bomb site. Alem's also getting information with the Twitch. Oh, he spots one player. This should be a free kill, more or less. However, Dan decides to recede back into the other bomb site. Bride looking for a little bit more information. VP, though, they're stealing their nerve and they're falling back. They know that if the timer moves down, they may be able to have a retake.
It looks like Bride is having a think about executing in onto the piano position. Renshiro is going to keep any of those flanks at bay. But as the time starts to tick away, BDS really needs to press the attack. The smoke is going to ring out to enable them to make their drop.
And Brie indeed looks to force that diffuser down. Joystick, he can see the plant, but he cannot deny it. It is on the hard floor. Always finds one kill and retakes top floor control. That means that this is very much a winnable retake for VP. However, BDS are looking to assume extremely safe post-plant positions. They're not looking to hunt kills. Leakafak on the top floor is hunting for always. Meanwhile, Joystick has found one. Shaiko looks to secure it, but Joystick's taken him down as well. Leakafak winning his fight up above, makes it to 1v1.
Oh, Leakafak.
Joystick, is he able to stick it? He baits out for just a moment. Joystick once again has to retry. There is no time on the clock for a second chance. Leakafak does not die early. Indeed, he finds the final kill for BDS in the round.
Very nice impact player there. Come the execute. I really want to point out the intricacies of Bride's execute as well. We saw it a really nice free cam. He actually planted on the one bit of marble that was in the border of the room to make sure that Joystick down below could not deny the plant as it went down. And that little bit of detail that they took care of as they went in for the execute was, to be honest, what I believe won them the round. Joystick, he had a nuts retake, man. Like 2 or 3 kills to his name. You know, if the execute didn't go down as cleanly as it did, you could very easily see that being a Virtus.Pro round.
Yeah, time to fire up for VP. Because BDS has shown that they do have what it takes to fight fire with fire. VP on their attacks, a lot of explosive mini executes like we saw on the top floor. BDS can do the exact same thing. We saw that with this push from Leakafak and Alems. And while there are some moments of greatness from VP, like this insane 3K from Joystick, we need to see a lot more than that. I mean, some gnarly shots. This guy really has fired up. I think he took what the analyst was saying personally. But of course, Leakafak on the other side has done even better. He's currently on 12 kills after a 4K that round.
Nuts job so far for BDS to keep pace with Virtus.Pro on their second half. Now we're going to see ourselves down into the basement bomb side as Leakafak, Heartbreach in charge, is going to make this wall work off the back of a grenade, but that gets impact tricked first of all. Dan's got one more, so surely he's going to play the trick game twice, but there are 3 summers and only 2 impacts, so surely Leakafak's going to get away with this one.
Well, Shepard does have impacts, and he comes over just out of the nick of time. He also misses his impact. He will be able to take down the second explosion from that summer, so this will not be a walkable or even crouchable or vaultable hole for BDS.
It is just a hole, not an exciting one. Anyway, that sounds really wrong. I'm never saying that again. I'm sorry. Anyway, the rest of BDS, though, having lost the breach minigame, they have to think about the rest of the map instead. And so the clear has to happen, but it's pretty extensive from Virtus.Pro. They've gone through all 3 floors of the map, and there's a lot for BDS to take apart.
Brede is going to use one of his hard breach charges to open up this flank wall for Visa entrance. And that'll go down into Archives, which is a very nice extra way to put pressure on the site. However, you need a lot more than that to pull off a successful attack. Speaking of, a lot of roam game still very present, and the way that the castle has changed the architecture of the map around that expo room does make it very awkward for BDS, even if they do get in to look for a plant.
Shaiko getting a little bit of info going into the bomb side off the back of the Gemini, but Dan is going to be the one to keep it at bay.
Oh, here we
They're actually
go.
going to get a hard breach charge on the wall as well, so no matter what, they really want there to be a vaultable hole going into the bomb site. That being said, though, there goes Alems into the ground floor to take down Always. That was the player that was holding onto the expo hatch. Shaiko as well, having a look into the bomb site.
Oh, aggressive from Dan, but he loses the fight to Shaiko, who will not give up, and here comes the execute for BDS. Candelas go through. Leakafak has somehow snuck his way right into the backer side. Pasha above. He does not have the angle as Bride looks to stick it. Oh, but barely. He lands a couple of bullets into the feet, but it's far too little. And now the timer is ticking away. Oh, what a shot onto Shaiko. Pasha is turned up for 3 more players and only 30 seconds to find each of them.
Tough spot now for Pasha, who's been pretty good in this game so far, but probably not good enough to land the 1 versus 3. Bride is going to round the corner with the Ying and take him out.
Wow. Another great attack from BDS puts them in pole position. this may be VP's map pick, but BDS have found themselves on match point.
Solid attack as well from BDS. They really kept VP guessing what they were going to do there. They put so much utility onto the wall. I almost thought that they'd squandered their wealth of utility trying to get the main breach open. But while all of that was going down, it was really nice of Alems to be able to inject himself inside of the ground floor and take down two of the roamers that were sort of loitering around that Expo fortress that you were speaking about a little bit earlier. Not just that, but even off the back of that, Brede went, okay, I've got the Yin Candelas now. There's really only one more person on the bomb site. That was Dan, and they managed to flood him as they went in for the execute. Actually, they didn't flood Dan. They flooded the player behind that inside the kitchen because Dan went and got aggressive onto Shaiko as well. And pretty much off the back of the 2 or 3 picks that they got somewhere in through the mid-round, it was go time for them, and they went for it.
What's funny is if Dan does win that 1 versus 1 against Shaiko, who, by the way, was like finishing a reload, then I think the round goes the opposite direction. Dan could have saved that for VP. He made the right play, but he lost the fight. This was also a beautiful play from Alems upstairs. He used his Ash breaching round to open up a long line of sight. It doesn't matter that there's a castle barricade there. He's got a massive opening into that room on top of the bomb site, and as a result, he could clear out those roamers very handily. VP looking a little dejected after that round loss, but they can spring back into it. They've just taken their tactical timeout, and they've also changed their bomb site choice.
That really was a very nice Alems and Shaiko round for them to double down on their picks and open it up in the early game. That being said, Dev, I gotta say, I feel like between these two teams, the early game has really been the dictator, I would say, of every single one of these rounds. I don't know what your stats are going to say, but it really does feel like whoever claims the opening, I would say the opening 2 picks, is then able to convert the round. It doesn't matter what side it is or what team it is, but it certainly feels that way at the moment.
Indeed it does. Now, the curious thing for me, Mandy, is the bomb site that VP have decided to go for is actually the first one that they lost on their defense, right? Like, we're going to Expo and Lobby. This is a very dangerous one. BDS had a great attack onto this bomb site, and it was only barely close because of a 3K from Joystick. We've seen a few changes, like the mirror is still present, for example, but the Capcan comes out in tandem with the Frost, so banking on some traps having an impact in the late round. I'm not sure if BDS will fall into this. I think that VP might have the wrong read.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, I don't know. I feel like this could kind of work against BDS, right? They're all going to sit outside the building. So the moment that they get inside the building is only then when they're going to be able to clear all the traps, right? So all the frost mats, all the Capcan traps, and whatever it might be is going to remain standing in this early phase. And if they want to go in for an explosive execute, that's something they have to worry about, as well as getting the kills down as well. I don't know. I feel like Virtus.Pro have got what they need here to shut down the rush.
Well, here it comes in. Shaiko jumps straight on in, but he does lose his life. There might not have been any traps on that door, but it seems like Joystick himself was ready to spring into action. Pasha has gone down to Leakafak. A bit of revenge there as Renshiro makes his way towards Split, finds Joystick. Numbers even once again.
Shepard's going to toss out a C4 back of the Sense wall, but Brede isn't there to meet him. BDS have taken a little bit of a step back. That being said, Leakyfac trying to claim another one through the top of Yellow. Doesn't quite land the shots onto Shepard, and he'll take him down. It's just Brede left in the 1-on-3.
This information, oh, so close. He does a bit of damage, but not quite enough with that wallbang. Another one! The yellow ping to always his demise, as Shepard has a good position, but he doesn't want to overcommit here. He says, I cannot give another 1 versus 1. Brede uses the send screen to roll on through and give himself an opportunity to rotate out. Now Dan and Shepard, by the way, Shepard is low HP. They've both fallen back towards the bomb site, but still are separated. This is so winnable for Brede. He has to play it perfectly.
He doesn't have that much time though, 40 seconds, so a little bit to try and get some drone work done. But the two players of Virtus.Pro are playing in pretty safe positions as it stands. The drone's going to be shot out. Oh, Brede looking for a vertical kill onto Shepard, but he's just in this little bit of safety on the other side of that doorway.
He will indeed have to jump straight on through down this hatch. Dan's watching the angle and can spray him through. VP hold on once again. One more round and overtime will be on the cards.
Solid round there from VP. I liked what BDS tried to do to change the tempo in the final round and go for something quick and explosive. But Virtus.Pro were ready for that on the other side. It just really felt like the setup that Virtus.Pro had going in the top floor was so much of a fortress that BDS couldn't quite pick it apart. And as the entry kills didn't quite work out their way, Virtus.Pro really shut them down. It was a tough spot for BDS to then try and come back from.
Well, at least BDS look quite relaxed. Sometimes you see teams get so close and start fumbling, and the tension is palpable, and you think that that anxiety is going to creep into their gameplay. But I think from just looking at the facial expressions, the body language of BDS, I wouldn't be too worried for them. They still have a really solid shot of closing this out in regulation.
Back up to the top floor we go for Virtus.Pro. Now, last time we saw them play this always got a very nice 3K through the Soda hallway as BDS was shut down pretty early before they even got there. Hopefully this time around, if BDS look for a similar clear, they can find a little bit more success. I like the swap from Renshiro to get off the sledge and go into the Flores instead. I mean, Lickfack's going to pick up the sledge anyway. But it does mean that with those Rotero drones, you can remotely try and clear out the setup that's gone down inside of the Soda hallway. The shields, the Fenrir devices, whatever you might need to clear, Flores is there to try and solve that.
Reload.
Lems is in the building really early on this gridlock, down below the bomb site. Nades in pocket. He's actually going to use his tracks to cover off his flank, but Pasha has been unattended on the other side. I think Lems is wary and watching for this angle.
Bit of a dance going on in the ground floor as I think Leakyfac's going to try and double down on this position as well. They know that Pasha's down here and they want to take the 2 versus 1 onto him and at least claim the early rounds or the first pick for themselves.
Oh, here comes Leakyfac. Nay, this is just to clear the barbed wire, but does give him an option. An expensive piece of utility to expend, but especially when it takes a sledgehammer to clear out the rest of it. VP are just very patient here. They've completely seeded the entire ground floor where BDS have lapped up the map control but failed to really achieve a lot with that.
The Rotero drone though, that's a nice one. That's taken down the shield that I believe was inside the double door itself. Pasha as well, starting to feel the pressure. A player rounding the corner, that's Leakyfac, and they can finally claim the one that they were looking for.
Big opener for BDS. Down upstairs. Once again, just looking for a safe haven, looking for solid ground that will not be erupted from these nades as Shaiko starts to make his way up the stairs.
Ooh, this is sneaky beaky from Shaiko. I don't know if anyone's watching on the other side. I think it's only Joystick inside of CEO that might have an angle onto this position. Okay, he is kept at bay for now by the barbed wire. It's actually Shepard on the other side that's going to keep him accountable. Meanwhile, though, Shaiko, it doesn't matter. He lands the shots onto Joystick anyway.
2-player advantage. BDS. Shepard now has a tumultuous task ahead. 2 gas babes remain as the flashes come out. He looks to hold on with the shotgun. Elsewhere, the action will go down. Always finds VP's first kill of the round. And Dan the second. 3-on-3 now. BDS are letting it slip. It's falling out. Overtime may well be on the cards.
Shaiko as well, feeling the smoke, babe. Keep him at bay. Where are the rest of his teammates? The push has got to come through from the back, and there goes Leakyfac.
And Leakyfac has been the best player in this game, but he backs straight up into always. BDS found the first 2 picks, but since then, there has been nothing. Brede now with no chance of planting. 1 versus 3. Virtus.Pro can sit back, relax, knowing full well overtime is on the cards.
Really composed round there from Virtus.Pro. BDS tried to keep them guessing throughout the entire round. They sent 2 or 3 players down into the ground floor. Yes, they were able to take out Pasha, but then they couldn't convert it from there. Always is absolutely relentless in the Soda hallway. He's immortal in his position behind that one vending machine. And no matter what happens, all fronts of the BDS attack did not work. Shaiko's push up the yellow says, yes, he claimed Joystick, but he got taken down. on the side of the Soda hallway as well. Yes, they were able to eventually get control inside of there, but then Danon always shut them down with a crossfire. It just felt like in the final 30 seconds of the round, BDS, they tried to go for this multifaceted take into the top floor, hoping that someone on Virtus.Pro would not be paying attention to them, but Virtus.Pro was so composed that they were looking at every single point of entry and being really calm about it.
Wow. We looked for a moment at Leakafac's camera and he was just going off at his teammates. I have no idea what he's saying, but he was just talking so much. I mean, here's Shaiko coming in as well. Wow. Very high energy. I was saying before that BDS looked very relaxed, and I think that has really flipped. They've just fumbled 2 map points in a row to VP, especially that one, losing a 5 versus 3. And now I can only imagine that the BDS crowd will start barking at each other. Orders left, right, and center. The blame game may start to creep in. They have to ignore that. I mean, just look at Leakafac. He looks pissed.
Nah, that's not the attitude that you gotta take, especially when SI is on the cards for these guys. This is a must-win series. Yes, if they lose a map 1, they still have 2 more maps to have a chance at bringing it back, but really, this is the map that you want to start things out on, set the momentum going through the rest of the series.
Loading mag.
And what's more, BDS once again start on that attacking side here in overtime. They were so good on their defense. They really held at bay a lot of those rushes from VP. But I think after 2 failed attacks in a row, a third looking into overtime is a huge ask for the French.
Jumping into overtime, VP are going to start out on the defense, and having the overtime reset does mean that they can jump back into the top floor. Now, both times that they've defended this, it has been overwhelmingly successful, I will say, for Virtus.Pro. They look so comfortable on this bomb site, and it doesn't look like they've changed all too much about their strategy. I dare say they haven't changed anything about their strategy, except for Pasha, who is no longer in the ground floor because he doesn't want to get hunted down and is going to sit in the corner of break room instead.
Oh, VP. They must be exuding confidence right now. Pasha in particular in an aggressive position. He was prone. He was looking to make a bit of a ratty play. He decided better of it. I think it's the right choice to do so. And now he actually falls all the way back. So he's delayed a bit of time. Half the round is gone, Mandy, but BDS really have not made enough headway to be satisfied.
Mid-round really matters now for BDS. They've got a couple sets of explosives that they can send in to try and deal with the setup of Always in the hallway. Always has just been absolutely the bane of this defense for BDS as they try to land this attack. Ooh, bit of a cheeky claymore as well to make sure that Always cannot push too far away from the Soda machine, but nevertheless, he is still in his safe haven.
Leakafac has been the difference maker in this game for BDS. If he can have a big round, then it could be a 3rd match point for the French team. And with nobody playing in that position behind the vending machine for VP, BDS are looking poised to once again march on forward. Here comes Alems.
Much better clear as well. The util flood worked to perfection for BDS as they are finally able to clear the shield. But look at the time. Only 40 seconds left. They've taken a full 2 minutes to make this clear work. And Pasha through the floor is trying to claim the life of Leakyfac, but Leakyfac thinks nothing of it as he climbs his way up the spiral stairs and is going to continue the duel.
Pasha's got the info. He's got the pre-fire position. He has the better position. Leakafac looking to bait him out with the shoulder peek. Shaiko elsewhere finds the first kill. Leakafac has the full read. Shaiko's gone big. Pasha, though, comes up the stairs, finds one. Joystick finally puts Shaiko's reign of terror to an end. And Alems goes down as well. Renshiro, the last one standing. He's found one, but he must find Pasha. It's not going to happen unless he rounds the corner with the pistol. Renshiro! How on earth does he do it? 7 years playing this game, and he is still damn insane.
What a massive round from Renshiro that it almost looked like Virtus.Pro had such a grip on the top floor bomb site. But BDS said, okay, we haven't got a lot of time, but that means it's go time. And as it ticked down into the red phase of the round, they sent themselves straight into the bomb site. They played the trade game, and they came out on top because of heroics from Renshiro.
The clutch player steps up when he is called upon. A standing ovation would be deserved. He stood up himself. Man. Well-deserved fist pump from Stuflex after that round. Holy moly. VP are looking defeated. They might have already staved off 2 match points, Mandy, but a third after being clutched on like that seems like too big of an ask.
Oh, really nice shots from Shaiko as well. We're just seeing this come out on the replays. Renshiro, he collected 2 for himself, and then Shaiko collected 2 for himself. I mean, Renshiro actually collected the 3K in the round, so the 2 players, 2 of the, I would say, the entry players doubling down on the kills to make that execute work. Really good stuff from BDS. Oh man, Pasha, he's so upset. He's like, oh no.
Who was it? Was it always the last? No, it was Pasha.
That was Pasha, yeah.
Oh man.
Poor lad.
Head in hands. Renshiro might only have 8 kills, but he's had almost as much of an impact as Likafak with a round like that, especially if BDS can convert this match point. It tells you so much about the current state of VP. To be able to come back from getting clutched on like that would mean so much for Virtus.Pro.
Now, I don't understand a lot of French, but in between these 2 rounds, they did make a comment about something about it being a fast piano. So it does make me think that they have the read, that Virtus.Pro are sort of cutting corners a little bit on this roam clear. There are no players in the top floor, but there are 2-3 players of Virtus.Pro at the moment on the attack, trying to entry in from the ground floor, and Alems has got the read on the player outside the double window. But Dan is going to take him down instead, so the duel so far going in the way to Virtus.Pro.
Doesn't matter if you've got the read, if you don't have the mechanics to back it up, and Alems, by a hair's breadth, misses that opportunity. VP have the advantage.
The rest of the BDS players, though, still holding on to the ground floor. The only player all the way in the top floor, it is Likafak, who is going to take the duel into a player on drones on the other side. Joystick caught with his pants down on his ankles, and Likafak is going to collect yet another kill. 16-7 is the scoreline for this guy.
Likafak is having a life game at the moment, and he is fired up about it. Dan's gone down, and the advantage has flipped on its head once again.
Check in PC. What was that? He just landed the craziest headshot on Sudan inside a lobby. What on earth? Dan is probably like in shock right now. Absolutely no way that should have happened. Here goes Always tearing up the floor from a floor above inside of meeting. But Shaiko's gonna have a bit of a safe haven inside of closet. Oh, they don't know. They have no idea.
Oh, this is so scary. Shaiko! He can find 2, potentially! 1 on a Pasha, he'll be kicking himself. And now with the shotgun, Always needs to trade, but Shaiko does not need to move at all. There goes the stun and the kill to go through for Always. Bring it back into the realm of possibility, but that realm, that window is closing for VP. A C4 to go out for Renshi. Shepard in a 1 versus 3 against BDS. 25 seconds remain. A goo mine in foot and no hope in hell. A nice shot onto Renshi. 2 more to find, but Likafak still survives. Another goo mine in foot. He's got no options. He has to make the difficult choice to send his body on through, but waiting on the other side is Likafak. A life game. VP crushed their SI promise in EU, but now BDS is coming for their playoffs in Atlanta.
And such a solid final round as well for BDS to close that. Cool, calm, and composed. They had the read onto what BDS were doing, and they took the necessary gunfights to do it. Shaiko looking for a high-risk, high-reward play in what is potentially the final round. That's all you could ask from BDS.
1 year since becoming major champions in Jönköping, BDS are 1 map away from making main stage in Atlanta. Map 2 coming up after the break.
Hello, I'm Dominic Clement, game designer on Rainbow Six Siege. The next season is right around the corner. And if you don't get the latest operator on release, you might still want to review your ABCs on some of the operators already available today in the game. The Electric Bandit, the Wise Cade, and the Quiet Mute will be welcoming a new troublemaker into their ranks, ready to give breachers a few headaches. Working out your pulse and soleus muscles will ensure you'll be able to provide invaluable intel to this new operator. And let's not forget about Ella, Fenrir, and our other trap operators who each bring a unique ingredient that can be used in crafting some really crazy strategies with this new operator. So jump into the game and review your basics with these operators, so you'll be ready to synergize with the new operator when it comes out next season. See you then.
Hey guys, it's Gio from Sonics, and welcome to my fresh install. For diffuser, I have manual because I play support, so I gotta make sure I have the bomb at all times or I'm able to drop it inside the site. For drone prep, also manual. You also wanna sit on your entries drones as long as possible, especially if they're up. HUD, I actually just keep everything the same. Doesn't really change much. Audio, everything on super high. I play night mode, surprisingly. I don't know, a lot of people don't play like that, but I like it. Basically for display, we go to as many hertz as you can. We go to 4.3, but that's all preference. I like 4.384 for me. 4.384. And then at the bottom, I personally do 95 HUD display area and then 94 menu display area with a brightness of 61, I think it was. Some odd number like that. Graphics, I have a pretty bad PC at home, so everything's on super low. We go low, we go LOD quality high, shading quality low, shadow quality, pretty sure that's very high, so you can see the shadows when they peek you. Reflection quality low, VFX low, ambient occlusion low, anti-aliasing off. And that's basically it for graphics. Make sure you always press apply so you have your settings saved. Control is the important part. I would say raw input off, mouse inversion obviously disabled, then sense is obviously up to you, but I play 1010, 400. You can mess with the magnification, obviously. I play with, let me see if it lets me. Thing 1x is 28, 1x 28, 1.5, 55, 56, and then 57. Mouse scroll wheel, I have it off because I grip the mouse kind of weird. Gadget deployment, advanced, joint deployment, advanced. I think those are really important to have on. Aim on hold, lean actually on hold as well because I lean with my mouse buttons. Sprint, hold, crouch, toggle, prone toggle, and then walk toggle. For the keybinds, I actually have some kind of crazy keybinds. I lean with my mouse buttons, so this would be just have the mouse buttons, and then gadget is Q and E is melee. So that's kind of it. For control is my prone, and then it's basically it. Everything else is kind of default. Just make sure you're leaning with your mouse buttons, and then your gadget is Q and your melee is E. So it's kind of weird, but I mean, it's all preference. Accessibility for optic colors. Yeah, I like the light green with 100 opacity. I'm kind of blind, so I mean, I'm blind and old, so it makes me see better. At least, now that's what I think, could be placebo, but it's all preference. Everything default and then opacity 100. I tried 50 or lower, but I mean, can't really see, so up to you really. And just make sure you're applying all your settings. Thanks for watching my fresh install, and see you guys at the major.
Overtime be damned, the French will always slam. BDS have now won Consulate twice over the past 24 hours, and that one was a real show stealer, all the way down to the wire. He even took an old man Renshiro clutch with literally less than 1 second remaining on the clock, and now BDS have gone up on VP's map pick in this series. I'm Jacob, he's Jesse, he's fresh. Nothing can really top that map 1 for me, guys. It's already written, it's in the books. BDS might... I'm not saying the line. Sorry, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. I'm not letting you do bingo. I'm not letting you do bingo.
I know. But what is it about these two teams in Consulate?
Yeah.
They just seem to love it. It's an absolute slogfest from both teams. Two very, very high quality teams on Consulate, particularly in the defense side. It was kind of poetic that we went all the way to overtime, and it took, a big clutch and a huge play to get us through there.
Yeah, I really think of these two teams. It was a very back and forth game. The very start, we saw opening round for BDS, a couple attacking rounds from VP. That first quarter, I was like, okay, the attacks are looking good for Virtus.Pro. Didn't really end up that way, though the defensive half to start things off did go the way of BDS. Then we got to the second half, and the tides really did start to turn. Virtus.Pro started getting some really good rounds. I thought Pasha through rounds 7 and 8 was having huge impact out on the roam, coming back to site, and then VP bounced back, and then BDS bounced back, and it was just so many rounds back and forth. It really was tough to see who was going to win. In the end, though, it's 8-6 BDS.
That's 16 and 7, I think, from League of Fact. If I'm old man eyes can read that. No, 18 and 7. It's even better. Good.
Yeah, we've got to talk about this kid because he comes into the roster and people like to think, oh, it's just the Shaiko and the Leaky Fact show. And yes, he's gone absolutely nuclear today. But what people don't necessarily realize is his operator pool, the way he slots into the strat. He's not just a case of Shaiko go kill, like it genuinely is with Shaiko. He is designed in most strategies to get the kills. Leaky Fact's designed to play around the team, play around utility, but then has the individual excellence to also get the kills, and that's what makes him a special player.
What was that one graphic we had from SI earlier this year where it was like Leaky Fact has 26 different operators played, and Shaiko's like one. Yeah, no, I think it was like 2 by the end. He played Ash and Yana or something like that. So for Leaky Fact and BDS, great story coming in, especially when we got the chance to interview Leaky Fact yesterday. Different story for the Russians, though, because we highlighted Joystick coming in, and it was specifically an entry comparison. So how do you do here?
Well, Joystick was doing okay on the entries when it comes to the Amaru. Anything else, he wasn't really finding success. This is the first round where he's running in a basement, over peaks on the Fenrir gadget, ends up losing his life because of it. Then we saw rounds 2 and 3. This is the back-to-back Amaru rounds. The very first Gara hook entry kill that I've seen in a very long time, if not ever. These rounds were great. When Joystick had that initiative to get in quickly, when he had that tool in his belt, he was really, really good at finding these openings. But after round 3, he didn't touch Amaru once. He started playing much more gridlock. He really wasn't able to find these picks like he previously was able to, and it really did start to hurt for Virtus.Pro. Not having Joystick get in, not having Joystick get active was constantly a big problem for them, and even when he's going for these swings, he's just not finding success. This is the final round at overtime too. Switched over to the Yana to try to salvage things on their attack, but unfortunately caught on the drone. The intel not quite there for Virtus.Pro. So I don't know what it is. You can't rely on Amaru. It's just not going to work every single round. So he's got to figure out his attacks on those other operators.
And I think consistency is a big word that we use whenever we see Virtus.Pro. Inconsistency is what we're seeing from Joystick and the team in terms of that entry engagement. So they need to find that consistency.
Jack, because you're the European expert, talk to me about Kafe. Do both teams like it? Do they play it a lot? What's up?
Yeah, so both teams like Kafe. It's the number 2 map preference for both teams. Virtus.Pro are actually rocking with a very small map pool this event, and they didn't look good on Kafe against Lost One. However, they can't defend away because of the way the bans had to go. They had to ban away the skyscraper and the border, and there's a lot of maps that they don't like. So BDS have picked into it. They love it. And in stage 1, like I say, all the way back in EUL stage 1, BDS had to win by a landslide against Virtus.Pro on Kafe to get to the playoffs. They fell short by 1 round, but it was still a 7-2 win. Very decisive.
Okay.
Yeah, and on the other side, I mean, obviously stage 1 didn't quite go that way. Stage 2, they played it again. It was extremely close that time. It was an 8-6 win for BDS in that one. But all in all, I mean, an 8-6 win for Virtus.Pro, I should say. So recent history, maybe leaning slightly for Virtus.Pro, but BDS, they love this map. They're going to be very comfy on Kafe.
Real quick, do we need a map 3?
No.
No?
No.
I thought they'd win map 1. I don't think they'll take it map 2. I think it's a 2-0 now.
All right. I do believe the desk says BDS does the thing, and we'll let James and Mandy do their thing.
Thank you, Jacob. You do have permission to say those words. We'll give it to you just this once. But if the desk seems to think this is going to be a BDS open and shut case, then that is a dream-crushing experience for Joystick and the boys, who have not been on the main stage and event since 6 Invitational 2022 as Empire when they lost out to TSM. This team has not been champions since the Raleigh Major 4 years ago in 2019. BDS were majors just 1 year ago, and they're looking for a return to the main stage here, and it could well be a 2-0 to eliminate VP.
That would be pretty exciting if it was a 2-0. I think BDS knew how much was riding on this game, and they are so ready for it. I can only think and reflect on Consulate and just feel like they were so ready for that map. There were so many times where BDS just had the read so early on the strategy that Virtus.Pro were bringing into that round that I can only imagine going into Kafe, they're going to feel even more comfortable. And personally, I feel like I can only agree with the desk and their sentiment.
And you know who was fired up on Consulate? It was Kafe. He is the newest player to join this roster. He joined them just over a year ago, and ever since then, BDS have finally started taking championships. Rafal was a great player, but it took a long time for them to find their perfect fit. As we get into the bans, and we're hearing some Mandy oohs. Fill me in, Mandy. What are we oohing about?
Why Ram? Why have BDS gone and banned Ram? I'm trying like really hard to think about why at the moment, and that's why I've gone ooh. Well, you know, it's a wandering ooh, contemplative ooh.
The thing I figure about Ram, as I also join you in a contemplative is that there are other tools that can do the same job as Ram on this map, right? Like Kafe, you're mainly just using Ram on the kitchen bomb site to tear up the floor from above, or maybe like the ground floor, sorry, the first floor bomb sites to tear up the floor above and bar, but you can do that with Sledge and Buck anyway.
I don't know. We'll have to wait.
Thinking face.
I really have got a thinking face going on. Why did they ban Ram? I don't know just yet. Nevertheless, it is going to be Virtus.Pro starting out on the defense anyway, so we might not get our answers for that one until the second half regardless.
Well, it is actually going to be the basement in the very first round with that Ram banned on out. Vertical play will have to come from operators like the Sledge, the Buck, and potentially any breaching charges. But it looks like for now, we're seeing VP set up with a pretty typical hold downstairs in kitchen. The Azami slipping through the ban phase is a real boon to this defense. They have so many options, so many possibilities in this cupcake area, the cupcake stand, for example. Pasha is actually going to look for a little bit of a drone spawn peek, and he does take one down. That's, in my opinion, a little bit of a rookie mistake from BDS. Don't keep your drones outside there.
Whoa.
However, Pasha almost loses his life very early after that.
Scary times for Pasha. You know what? You've got to get as much value out of the drone phase as you can. Fair enough. There are 8 drones left instead of the 10, so you could call it a dub if you choose to. That being said, BDS on the other side of the attack are looking to sweep across the map. They have brought along a combination of your roam clearing 8 operators in Jackal and the Dokkaebi. And not only that, but they've got the double soft breach as well on Sledge and Buck. So you would think that surely they want to make full use of the vertical pressure that's actually been given away to them by Virtus.Pro.
They've made such quick work of it, haven't they, Mandy? Very early on in the round, Kafe has gotten in with this Jackal Inox scanner. He can see the lack of footprints and therefore how much that is available to the attack. No Ram, but that might not matter. We've got the Buck and the Sledge to tear open this floor and start to eliminate players on the site.
BDS taking a little bit of time to get this done, but they just want to be cautious about it as the floor is starting to be torn up. The only C4 on the hands of the defense on the other side is Shepard, who I don't know is in a position to actually throw it up or not. I can only imagine he's probably sitting in like rice or prep or something. He's got the shotgun, right? Like surely, right? So hopefully BDS play this safely enough through the mid rounds that they don't have a casualty to a C4.
Yeah, I'm a bit curious as to what the mid-round is here for BDS. Now, that Wamai Magnet will not destroy the shield as the nade explodes. A drone is going to try to go in, but here come the flashes and here come the frags as well to clear out this shield for Dan as he looks to hold onto this position with the MPX.
It does look like it's going to be a freeze drop here for BDS. They're not looking to pivot over to Bakery or anything like that. They just want to make sure that Coffee is clear. They can then go and clear out Dan in his position, hopefully get down inside of Whiskey as well, and then collapse it on the bomb side. The danger of them going for this is that even if they try and aid their flood with utility and a smoke, it's a false sense of security because it's the Warden on the other side that is going to see this hatch drop no matter what.
few shots ring out, always finds the first one onto a Lems. Down at the bottom of Brown's stairs, and Shaiko's in an awkward position. He's looking to make something happen. He wins the fight onto Dan, and that may open up this round. There is a bulletproof camera feeding information to Virtus.Pro, and so they look to retreat. They look to fall back, and they say it's fine if these guys get in the sight. We're confident on the retake. 15 seconds now remain. Brede, diffuser in hand, ready to make his entry, but it is so late in the pipeline, and there's a good long angle. Shaiko replies. Shepard holding on, he's feeling the pressure. Low ammunition now on the SMG-11 as Renshiro shuts down Joystick and may well enable a push here. Shepard called upon to clutch. Can't find a thing. A last-minute push for BDS, but it works like a charm.
Very well accounted for execute coming from BDS. They knew that they couldn't util hatch drop. That's not going to work, especially when the Warden is inside of VIP watching that position. No matter how many flashbangs and no matter how many smokes you send down there, it's not going to work. And they identified that really early come the pre-execute phase. And that's why they sent Shaiko down the white stairs, another player going down the brown stairs to then go and pinch onto that position. The two gunfights that they needed to go went their way. And that was the play onto Dan and always as well the bottom of brown stairs. After that, it really opened up the entry into the bomb site. And from there, somehow Leaky Fat coming down the red stairs just cleaned house on the remaining defenders that tried to flip their defensive setup. But really, it just felt like BDS, every step of the pre-execute through the execute, every single step was accounted for.
And what I'm wondering is what went wrong for VP? You can't afford to let BDS have sight with 10 seconds left. If you've got yokai drones or gas babes or Vulcan canisters, some form of utility to prevent that last minute push from being successful. But it all relied on Pasha with the long angle from red stairs. As soon as he was traded, the round was forfeit. And once again, Leakafak is stepping up.
Really solid round there from the remaining players of BDS as they went in for what was a rather explosive execute to close things out. It's going to force Virtus.Pro to change their bomb site. They don't want to go back down to the ground floor, having found the success on BDS on the other side. Instead, it's going to be over into reading and dining, which, what is it called? Reading and fireplace. Reading and dining? I'm absolutely losing it. Oh, it is reading and dining, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's technically called fireplace, but yeah, dining is what everyone calls it anyway.
Go me. Not a fraud cast you get. Anyway, Pasha going to be the first point of contest for the defense. Of course, like you pointed out early on, Azami has slipped through the ban phase, but Alems has brought Kali.
Yeah, very interesting, very uncommon pick, and not what most people would use to clear out these Kiba barriers, but it works like a charm. You've got 4 of the Lancers, and each one can easily clear a Kiba barrier very effectively. The rifle, though, not a lot of people are comfortable at using it. Now, Pasha's going to retreat very early on. He's terrified of any potential nades as he hears the flashes come through. More flashes to follow. The E1D as well. The Lance to clear the final Kiba barrier that was protecting Pasha's position. And so he's fallen way back. He's actually come back up the white stairs and reinforced off a position at Cocktail. Meanwhile, Shaiko's made his way in and taken down Joystick, who's having a rough start to Kafe, it seems.
Where on earth has Joystick just gone and died from as well? I can only imagine it was the player inside a Cocktail that's then gone down. That's a really long shot to land by only playing 1Xs, by the way. It is Shaiko, so really nice shot. Even though we didn't quite catch it, crazy entry so far as they are starting to convert through these mid-rounds. This angle is going to be plugged up by Pasha, but Shaiko can take it down himself. Oh, nice grenade.
So well played. A nade to clear the Kiba barrier and another one to take the kill. Shaiko is on fire in this game. He cares not for the Surya Gate. He will move on through it, tank the damage, and look for more. Renshiro getting to work above. It's domination for BDS. Virtus.Pro dropping like flies. 5 players still up for the French, and there's very little for VP to do.
Tough spot now with 40 seconds left to go. There is still some of the Dread Mines activated for Dan, and even though the vertical game has come through, Shepard's taken the gamble here. He still wants to hold on inside of reading with the SMG-11 and shotgun in hand, so that when the execute does come through, he can be a little more close quarters than if he had to play adjacent to it in the hallway.
Renshiro keen to make something work. Shepard has a C4 above, but that means the C4 will not be used to deny the plant. 15 seconds left to go. BDS like to leave it late, but they're confident they can make it work regardless. Shepard now 1 versus 5. He does fall after finding 1, and BDS dominate 2 attacks in a row.
I actually quite like the Kali idea from Alems in the top floor. I mean, it's a Zami on the other side, but there are 4 Lancers. I really didn't consider it as an option to clear something like the Fortress of the Azami, but like, to be honest, that would explain why BDS are like comfortable with leaving stuff like the Azami, like, I mean, I think the mirror's been taken out, right? But leaving the Azami in is something that they're comfortable with dealing with because you have a player like Lems that can go and flex onto niche operators and be comfortable with it, and that's very rare of a trait to have in Pro League.
It's interesting because a lot of people consider Flores is a great operator for clearing util like Azami barriers because he has so many drones. He gets 4 Roteros, but you can shoot those Flores drones and you can't activate them from a repelling position, right? You have to go and stand on the roof, drop them down the red hatch. They have to make their way through. Whereas the Lance, you've got 4, just like Roteros, but it's easy. Yeah, they get caught by my magnets and ADS devices, but you throw a couple stuns in, those Lances go forth, and it's very easy to clear the Azami's utility.
That being said, I really did feel like the turning point of that round was Shaiko going for his entry. I mean, that is a nut shot to land across the long desk with the 1x only, and then he just seemed absolutely relentless as he went in through the rest of the top floor. It just allowed his team so much room to encapsulate the bomb side after that and go for the execute.
And it's funny that it is the Kali to find the final pick as well with the secondary SMG, making her very, very viable in close range. That SPS SMG9 or whatever it's called, it's a fantastic weapon in close quarters. I personally think it's even better than the SMG11 for close range fights. And it packs a punch in a pinch. For BDS, 2 rounds in a row, Mandy. VP have taken their tactical timeout. Let's switch and talk about them for a second. What on earth has gone wrong, and what are they going to do about it?
I was just thinking that as well. That is a very early tactical timeout, round 2.5 tactical timeout from Virtus.Pro. Does mean that they're not happy with the opening formula that they have against BDS, which I think is fair enough. To me, the way that Virtus.Pro has been playing isn't like ridiculously out of the textbook, you know? I feel like both of the times that they played the defense there, they opened up room for BDS to make their way in, and then they played this full-off strategy, flip their defense around and see if they could deny the execute later on. Maybe this time around, they're saying that they cannot give real estate to BDS like that and actually take the fight to them early, because it feels like once BDS have actually got a foothold inside of the map, they make full use of it.
VP beats BDS on this very map, 8-6. In the final for the Europe League. A match that didn't matter very much for VP, but was very important for BDS for getting those crucial SI points, which they failed to gather. And now they're looking for more SI points by winning this game. If they lose the series, like we've said before, 6th Invitational is gone for BDS. If they win it, there's a chance.
Likifax sending in the Twitch drone to see if he could clear anything out inside of Piano, but it gets taken down. The player on the other side was Pasha, who's now fallen off, and it's the Azami. Small adaptation to this bomb site. They have opened up a bit more of the wall this time around, so they are looking to contest like backstore, freezer, that type of stuff, rather than giving that free control over to BDS.
Oh, here we go. That's a nice
wow.
claw that Likifax spotted. And as a result, there will be a breach enabled on this wall into backstore and bathroom. Once again, VP are terrified. They've fallen back, except for Pasha. And Joystick here at Cocktail still. Pasha is upstairs as well. And Dan's gone down. Renshiro sending it straight into side. It works for BDS. Pasha finally makes something work on his flank up above, as Joystick also finds his man. 3 players per side. Pasha needs to find this kill as he's dropped down below. Deagle out. He gets it onto Likifax. Renshiro is still in the site. And BDS still have a salvageable position, especially with Renshiro claiming that kill once again back. Numbers even for BDS. Brede could rotate back into the site and look to plant.
But where is Brede? Can he get the diffuser from his position into the bomb site? I think Brede is over on the red stairs at the moment, right? So he's in a bit of a tough spot because I think he must think that he's somehow sandwiched between these 2 defenders at the moment. There is one inside of Train. Now, whether they know he's there or not is the danger. And Renshiro, I think, has realized now and is going to hold on to Fireplace and make sure that Brede can make his safe rotation work.
The round started great for BDS, but VP have brought it back. Renshiro has once again given the French hope, and it's on Brede to escort this high-value diffuser back into the site. A stun goes down. Brede goes for an off-plan position. as VP decide how to make this retake work. It's on Renshiro to cover. Brede takes a bit of damage from Pasha, but Pasha lands the shot. Critical against Renshi. 3 on the round for him, as Brede must now hold in the post plant. He's looking for a rotation, and the camera's already been taken out. There's info for him, but is there info for Always covering the diffuser? A good retake for Pasha and Always to stave off 3 rounds straight for BDS. Pasha fires up out of the server as well, as VP have their first.
Tough situation for both sides there in the 2 versus 2. Renshiro was in the bomb site, but he didn't have the diffuser. And I think that at some point VP knew that as well. He didn't have the bomb. And so I think that they had the read that Brede was off somewhere, like adjacent to the bomb site, and they wanted to try and collect him. So you could see both the defenders, they weren't contesting Renshiro, even though they knew he was alone on the bomb site, because if they tried to make their rotation into the bomb site, Brede could have been there. They didn't know where he was, right? And you don't want to go and isolate that 1 or 2 versus 1 when you don't know where the final player is, when Brede could be looking for the cutoff. He was actually on the top of the red stairs as well, so he could have easily then gone into heaven and tried to shoot a player coming down inside a pillar or whatever. But because VP played such a disciplined game in the 2 versus 2, it actually then forced the attack to make the move with the diffuser instead. And I think that they just played the retake so well.
I only just noticed as well, Mandy, but we saw in the replay there that Pasha used 2 keeper barriers on the reading door as he was diffusing to make sure that he couldn't get swung from reading. And that meant that Always only had to watch from the other direction, and it was much easier for VP to cover the post plant. Now, BDS have already shown some interesting spice on these attacks, Mandy, but I've got a sneaky feeling we might see a little more.
10 seconds left.
Exciting stuff there. Blitz and Glaz line up, and Capitao as well from Alem and Sens.
Wow, everything is committed to making this as just offensive as possible. 2 sets of nades as well.
It's probably going to be a VIP push, like surely, right? Especially off the back of the Sens. Surely they... Oh, no, it's not. He's actually spawned inside a bakery. What's going on?
I think have the read. He's
I think I've got the read.
VIP.
Surely they're going to send the Sens in through VIP and then make Leaky Fact work with the entry, right? Because if you have that control, you're directly contesting all the way down the red hallway, all the way down through Whiskey, and you can basically clean sweep like half of the ground floor and then translate it from there. But it's about making this early game work. And have they telegraphed that push just yet? Because all 5 VP players, I'm just saying, are on the ground floor. So they are kind of playing into the hands of the defense right now. That being said, Dan is on a Warden on the other side of this push as well. So really, this is so dangerous for BDS to look for this.
BDS know that a Warden plays in this position. Brede goes in, but the support from Dan as well. Shepard goes down, but he has had an impact. Leakafak has been taken out. It's just a shambles, Mandy. I don't know what to say.
Just not smart, you know? Like, they're going in for this execute over into VIP. All 5 players of VP are still alive and on the ground floor, and you're playing directly into a ward, and then there's a crossfire as well. There was even a Legion mine at the bottom of the double window as they went in for a hop in into VIP too. So somehow, Virtus.Pro, whether they had the read, maybe they voted it or something like that, they knew exactly what was going on there for BDS.
Great support from, I still haven't figured out which player it was, whoever had the shotgun there in Freezer for VP.
Probably Shepard, right?
Shepard, I thought Shepard was the Echo. I'm not sure.
That's
Shepard I would usually expect to be on the smoke, but I'm not sure who it was for VP. But regardless, whoever was on that smoke or mute in Freezer supported Dan. And I think if that shotgun blast had not come through onto the blitz, then that round could well have gone the other direction.
I don't mind the idea to change up the tempo, especially against Virtus.Pro now that off the back of the tactical timeout, they have started to slowly figure out the formula against BDS. But that didn't feel very informed.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Yeah. Just so well played from VP. A lot of teams, they poop their pants in moments like that. They see, oh, there's a Glaz, there's a Sens, there's an Execute, and they just fall flat. They fumble, they let the attack steamroll them, and VP just steeled their nerve. They supported each other, they looked for opportunities, and they closed out a potential BDS rush. Now they go to the top floor, and if I'm not wrong, we actually haven't yet seen this bomb site. We've seen Reading twice and Kitchen twice, but this is the first time VP are taking us to the top floor.
Has gone out of fashion a little bit, especially with the popularity of up nades from below, which BDS are bringing 2 sets of grenades. And they're bringing enough soft breach to deal with a setup that's gone down for Virtus.Pro as well inside of Piano, even though it is pretty fortified with the castle and the Azami. The combination of the lances on Kali and the adjustable X-Kairos on Bride should be enough to dismantle the setup that's gone down inside of Piano. I think the next step here for BDS through the mid-round is seeing if they can get Shaiko and Renshiro down below to send those grenades from the bottom up.
Shaiko's been a very deadly player in this series thus far, and as you pointed out, with a lot of these one-time sites, he's just running a holographic at the moment. He's still landing these thread-the-needle shots upstairs. And his pick on one of those reading attacks, going from cigar shop all the way deep into cocktail, was massively impactful. VP have lost a lot of these aim duels on the long-range angles to these extremely sharp French players.
Here goes the clear. The flood of utility for BDS as they try to dismantle the Azami Kiba hold that is happening inside of Piano. They've cleared one now, but there's still a few more left to go. Leaky Fact on the other side is worried about a jump out as two of his teammates go for it. It's Bride and Alems to double down with their utility to try and clear what's going on.
Slow and steady for Bride. Hang on a second, Pasha! Oh! Take a bow, Pasha! Jumping out the window, finding 2 kills. The Claymore.
My God.
Missing BDS. What the hell is going on?
That is so unfortunate for Leaky Fact. He was staring at the jump outs for so long, and the moment that he looked away, Pasha jumped down, got a 2K. The rest of BDS are thinking, all right, the round's nearly over, so we're just going to jump in and see what we can get done on the bomb side. It doesn't work because the shotgun of Shepard is there to shut them down on the other side.
Just look at Dan's face. Eyes wide. He does not care. He's like, my teammates. And so Shepard's like, I swear I'm not with these guys.
That's actually so unfortunate for Leaky Fact, man. He's like sitting outside of the trade window, shooting open the windows, like making sure no one's on the other side of the prepped window. He goes to the reload, and then Pasha jumps out of the top of stage.
Well,
like, that is so unfortunate.
One player's unlucky is another player's, I heard the bullets, and I heard that he would probably be reloading because he just expended about 30 bullets. I mean, that's the danger, right? Especially with the new reload cancel denial, I don't know what you want to call it, the 1 bullet in chamber reload cancel.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, you used to be able to shoot like 10 bullets, start spraying down a window, reload, just to make sure that you can always cancel and go into a fight. But you can't do that anymore, and Leaky Fact was punished for it.
Rough round for BDS. A good idea, and they had the tools that they needed to break down the setup of Virtus.Pro, but one super play is what they needed to make it happen, and Shepard as well really holding out on the bomb site as the onslaught came through. The rest of the BDS players were like, so. So anyway, let's just see what we can get done on the bomb site, and Shepard was like, no thanks, good try.
Let's see it from his POV. Also just so perfect from Pash to immediately go for Leaky Fact first, the player further back that would be more likely to win that fight. Also Shepard very calm on his nerves. Love these reactions. Oh my God.
So energetic.
Yeah, there are moments I wish I knew Russian or French when we're casting these teams that speak languages other than English, especially Portuguese. You know, I would say bang for buck, working in Rainbow Six, I think Portuguese is the language you want to learn.
It certainly is, for sure, yeah. I definitely wish we learned some more stuff. You would think at this point, like, we've been to so many, like, events and spoken to so many people that we would know.
I know.
At least a little bit.
Vamos! Vamos!
But, like, really? I don't know anything.
I don't know. What do they say in Russian, like, for let's go?
I don't know.
That's a good question. Because, I don't know, do they say vamos in French or do they say aller? I don't know.
I don't know.
Asking
I'm useless. Sorry, you're asking completely the wrong person.
I mean, we are doing a brief technical timeout. If production's not busy and anyone knows how to speak French or Russian, I would love some insight.
Run over and teach us.
Well, I've got a Croatian in my ear. I've got the Dane in my ear saying bonjour. That's the best that he knows.
That's not how you say let's go.
No, that is not let's go.
Oh, it is alle.
Alle is what the Croatian's telling us.
Okay.
I don't know whether to trust medics.
I trust medics. Medics wouldn't troll us, right?
No.
Oh dear. Well, I don't really know what these guys were doing a tech timeout. They can't like speak to each other. They just have to sit there.
Exactly. Which is very challenging for people like Kafe, who I don't think have stopped speaking until 11 a.m. this morning. It's just been going 100 miles an hour, this guy. He's such an intensity about him, Kafe does. This whole game, he's just a furrowed brow, staring at his monitor. And when he's not doing that, he's flexing his muscles and projecting his voice towards the booth to his left, where these Russians are... no doubt feeling a little bit of pressure. To be fair, Pasha has given it back in spades.
It's been quite a fun one, a quite fun back and forth. Both these teams have so much energy, and it's been really enjoyable to watch. And yes, we're on a bit of a tech timeout, so all the energy kind of does subside, dissipates through the room a little bit, if you will.
This is the thing in Rainbow Six. It's not a steady incline or a steady decline or a consistent level of energy required to play this game. You need to be able to completely chill because it's operator pick phase or it's prep phase, and then you need to be able to ramp up in the rounds and then go like 110% intensity for that execute, and then reset again and go again and again and again, potentially 15 times in a map, potentially 5 times in a series.
It is a very back and forth game when it comes to energy like that. And I think the other thing is like urgency and level of urgency in comps is such like an important thing to balance as well. That's why like a lot of these Rainbow Six teams have got your balance of really talkative people and also really quiet people. If you have people that com everything with so much urgency and like energy all the time, then it can get really messy, especially when you're trying to problem solve through the like early to mid round. So it's really good like having quiet players, and I think both these teams have got a great team dynamic in that instance.
Yeah, you really do need to be able to vary your level of intensities in Rainbow Six because, like you said, if you're always calling with urgency, then it's like crying wolf, right? Like that fairy tale. And there's a very apt moral to that fairy tale. If you cry wolf when it's just a sheep, then people are not going to take you seriously when you actually have a blitz and a Glaz and a Sens and a Ying rushing you onto site.
Hooray! Back into the server we go. I can see players moving their mice, and that means that we are back in again. It is Reading and Fireplace for Virtus.Pro. They are 3-2 up at the moment is the scoreline, as they seem to have the number of BDS dialed at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a back and forth series for sure, and 3 rounds in a row now for VP tells you a little bit of something about the momentum. However, we've talked about how the momentum can flip on a dime, especially on the back of those tech timeouts. Now, BDS, 2 great attacks at the start of this map. Look for one more, and I'd say this is still a win on the half. Kafe is notoriously defender-sided, and let's not forget that Azami has been left in, Solus has been left in, Valkyrie has been taken out. Actually, I thought I was left in, never mind. I almost had something there.
BDS, though, like as you're speaking about the Azami, which has been rather impactful for Pasha, it doesn't seem like BDS are cool with problem solving that anymore. They tried it in the last 2 rounds with the Kali, and this time around they're thinking, nah, that takes too long. That's a bit nerdy. And so now they're going to jump onto a Nook instead on Leaky Fact. It's going to be aided by the dopey calls of a Lems as well. Not just that, but now they've got 3 sets of grenades as well that they can throw in. Onto only 1 catch defender, and that's a Rooney on the other side.
Yeah, not even a Jaeger or a Mai for VP in the setup. And so I think Pasha's going to have to be extra careful playing his positions. However, look at how many Kiva barriers he has in his pocket still. He's only just deploying some of them now. He has many still remaining. He's going for an impact to try and make this a little bit more of a difficult way to push up the bar.
Oh,
this is so tempting.
He can throw one up. He can definitely throw a grenade up into C1 if there's info there on the player there. There's nothing that's going to be able to catch it. No Wamai, no Jaeger, and there's no Renegade as well inside the single door to him. Okay, they've just thrown him out, has Renshiro. So surely that grenade is going to follow through.
The nade will no doubt come swiftly as Leakafak is so close to the side. He opts to throw the grenade over the top, and it doesn't find anything. Joystick's fallen back. Oh, here is a really nasty Kiba barrier. However, it doesn't last long. Thanks, Renshi. Leakafak's found Dan, though. Poised so close to the site and already finding a pick. The man of the hour fires up once again for the French. Numbers advantage, Shepard dueling with multiple angles as the roof above him now starts to cave in.
There's a lot of info on the top floor somehow for BDS. There are red pings going out on the remaining 3 players inside the cocktail. Oh, really nice shots from Shaiko onto Joystick. Will take him down. Pasha's going to look for the refrag, and he does collect it. A headshot to his name, but there goes Leaky back onto the bomb site.
A second pick for him, but Pasha's in a great position if he can use his vertical line of sight. However, there's so many players up top, he has to worry about Leakafak taken down below. Pasha, once again, the player to step up for VP, always on this flank, reveals his position. He needs to survive this. Renshi, deep up in bar. Numbers advantage is still in favor of BDS, and guess what? They've snuck back into the bomb site all the way around. Pasha and Always have no clue about it, and now they must retake. Information, certainly not in abundance, as Renshi drops down straight onto Pasha's head for one. The half likely to be tied up, as Always must clutch 1v3, nothing for it. BDS stem the bleeding.
Very nice sweep through the top floor for BDS. They identified what they could go for, and that was to send Leakyfac down below and use the combination of the 6 grenades that they had to dislodge the players inside a cocktail. And then as they went for the fall-off, they were caught in the hands of Leakyfac, of course, down below with the Nook. And at some point, they realized that the defense was so claustrophobic, like there were 3 or 4 defenders just above the laundry hatch or on white stairs or something, that Brede just had to think about wandering in on through Fireplace, because that was the real estate that BDS had in full control.
Leakafak making this entry, I mean, perfectly timed with his teammate above, Renshiro on the vertical line of sight. And yeah, you said it, Brede, I mean, really apt from him to identify that free map control that he was able to march on forward with the Lems to support him, look for a solid plan. Brede, oh, the stress of a support player, I tell you what.
It actually is stressful, man. Like, you've got this massive tussle that's going on in the top floor. Shaiko's going off a bit, and so is Leakyfac. And then the entire time, you've got Brede, like, sending drones inside the train. Like, I have train control, guys. Just by the way.
You guys are doing your thing, and I'm just sitting here with the diffuser, you know, twiddling my thumbs. Can I move in? But if I die, then the round's kind of GG. So I'm just gonna call out what I think might work.
Oh, man, the stress of a support player.
Well, we've switched sides now, Mandy, which does mean that VP have onus to match those 3 attacks BDS were able to find. Not easy to do on Kafe.
So we have gone up into the top floor for the bomb side of choice, the first one for BDS on their defending half. And they have also leaned into the same strategy that Virtus.Pro have as well, the Azami and Castle combination inside of Piano. Now, Dan, on the other side, has brought along the normal pick of dealing with this, and that's Zofia, instead of bringing along Carly. Oh, there goes Shepard, though, onto a pick onto Shaiko. I don't know exactly where that was from.
Run out here.
Oh, run out onto White. Oh my gosh, I 2 players ready for this.
Wow, he might even be able to go and hack cams. There's not a ton of good cameras to take down, but it would certainly help smother the information gathering from the defense. Good early pick, but Alems is really feeling that pressure as well. Leakafak looking for the tap, but he can't quite land that shot.
Lamb's nice shot though himself onto Dan. The player inside of Pixel is able to collect one of the 1 versus 1s onto the repel game. That does mean that, so for now, for a little bit of time, the minibar repel will be vacant, but another player will very quickly jump onto that. Elems, though, feeling the pressure of the white window being open, does think the better of it and will fall back.
Oh, Shepard's got info on the back of that logic bomb. He's so close, and have a look at the way that these defenders are positioned. They've fallen back to the cocktail side, looking very safe. Shepard throws a few bullets their way, but they are safe for now.
Joystick, with the safety of the Pixel player, having fallen back, and now make his way inside of Cigar. That's Leakyfac, though, coming back down to the bottom of White to look for a run out onto the player on the south repel, surely. Is there one there? No, there isn't. So for now, Virtus.Pro will be safe.
In the late round, though, keep in mind that run out could be possible. Always is still on that repel. Leakafak may make his way there in a dire moment. 50 seconds now as Joystick's just looking for a pick. He gets oh so close to taking down Renshiro all the way at the back of Cocktail. But where is this execute gonna come? Here's Leakafak. He makes that run out happen, but meanwhile, Pasha's taken out of Lems, and there's an opportunity to flood the site for VP. Flashes go in, and Pasha jumps on over. Joystick to hold down down the white hallway. A second one cannot be called upon for him. BDS once again holding the line. But a re-peek from Shepard makes this a 1 versus 2 for Paul and Shiro.
Attackers are active.
No impact grenade, but a quick jump over the bar. Almost finds Pasha's life. A 1v2 as these two Empire players, VP players encircle. And they take him on down. The first round for VP on their attack.
Pasha's so brave though in the execute. He had the diffuser in hands, but he was also the spearhead of the execute as well. He took the gunfight on top white, which is typically a 50-50 gunfight, but Pasha backed himself in for that. Path inside a bathroom, jumped over the bathroom rotate to take down another player, and then go for the trash plan after that. That was really Pasha's late game that he turned the rounds for Virtus.Pro in the final couple seconds of that round, and BDS got absolutely slaughtered on the entry.
Which is, yeah, astonishing. It seemed like BDS may have, for a few moments, had a decent position. They managed to trade out the early pick. But coming down the white hallway, it was the duo of Joystick and Shepard that shut BDS out of it. I gotta say, Mandy, I think I'm still stuck in 2019. I sometimes forget this team's name.
Yep.
Too many familiar faces, so strongly associated with another team name and their legacy. And in a way, Mandy, I will just say, I do associate this team's successes with that old Empire roster because you've got Joystick, Dan, Always, and Shepard, who were such an iconic squad back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think anything can take away from the reign of terror that they had, especially over EU. They are certainly a name to remember, and coming back on a different name of Virtus.Pro doesn't take away from that at all. Now they go over onto their second defense, having failing to defend the top floor. BDS don't want to have to deal with that anymore, and they're going to try something different, test the waters down on the ground floor instead.
And we see this shield. Dan is very confident moving on in, but Shaiko, Joysticks let him on through! No, Shaiko! He finds two! How does he get away with it? How does he keep getting away with it? VP might have bakery control, but Shaiko will be laughing at the advantage he has forged for BDS.
Well, they're going to go. They're going to go. The wall is open. They're in a 3-on-5, and they feel like they have to press the attack now. So they're going to send on their way on in. But Dan on the other side is going to shut down Renshiro. So one pick at least going their way. But look at Shaiko and the angle that he has onto Pasha. Shepard's going to clean one back, but it's all up to Dan in the 1 versus 2. Make that a 1 versus 1. It's all Alems and Dan left to do it.
Barely a minute has been taken off the clock. Shaiko's found 3 kills, and Virtus.Pro has sprung into action on the site. Alems and Dan. The Thermite now sees that diffuser cold on the ground. He has good information. He sees the head, and a quick spray, a quick tap. Ice cold for Dan. And 2 attacks on the trot for VP. 2 rounds away from taking a map.
I cannot believe that Virtus.Pro just won that attack. There is no way they should have robbed away what Shaiko was able to do on the defense just then. He threaded the needle between Joystick and the rest of Virtus.Pro to collect 2. He even got 3 once they made their way onto the bottom side. And somehow, Shepard unshields, gets the pistol out, and assassinates 2 people on the bomb site. Like, that is not allowed to happen.
Credit to Shepard. He knew what was called upon for him. Usually your role in the Monty, you're the space taker, you're the info gatherer, you're the planter, but he said, look, my players are dying. I need to help out my team. And he gifted Dan an opportunity. Dan says, don't you worry about it. I've got this.
And what is this? 1?
This is nuts.
2? How?
And Dan as well to win that 1 versus 2. I mean, Shaiko had a phenomenal round. There's nothing that can take away that except for Dan clutching it. And my God, Pasha's energy is unrivaled. You can see how much it means to BDS in the reaction when they lose these rounds. They know what is on the line here. It's not just the main stage in Atlanta. It's also a spot in Sao Paulo for the 6th Invitational.
This matters too much to lose for BDS. There's too much on the line for them to go down now to Virtus.Pro. 3rd bomb site, 3rd defense now for BDS. They're going to take us over to Reading and Fireplace instead. They don't want to repeat at all. Why would you? I mean, look, just try something new. There is so much you can bring on the defense. Keep trying things until something sticks.
The concern is that nothing has stuck yet, Mandy. We thought that BDS did pretty damn well after having 3 attack wins. Well, VP, in 2 attempts, have already found 2 of those. And now BDS, it's going to have to be a full sweep on their defense from here to close it before hitting overtime. But I have a feeling that if VP continue this, we might not need overtime.
The fortress of Alems as well with the army has been dismantled by the Zofia of Dan in tandem with a set of nades from Always as well. So far for Virtus.Pro, they do have a little bit of control going into Piano. Of course, it isn't the safest walk-in or repel-in either. There are still some lines of sights that will contest the entry on in. But instead, BDS have pulled back their defense just slightly. Instead of dedicating more of those keeper barricades to doubling down inside of Piano, they've pulled it back to Timbers and inside a Cocktail instead.
I like the setup Alems had there in the white hallway. Oh, what a shot from Dan! He continues his form from the last round here and takes down the most dangerous player from BDS. Shaiko has been on a heater in this series. He's back in form, if he ever had left.
Leaky Fight with a pre-play C4 now onto Heaven. We'll try and collect one of the attackers coming in through Virtus.Pro. Oh, blown up a little bit prematurely though, as Always takes a little bit of damage from taking the duel onto White Stairs.
Okay, this is what Pasha needs to use his ex-Kairos to clear out these keeper barriers. Alems is still in a very nice boosted position, but a lovely peek from Pasha dislodges him handily. Now, the top floor simply remains up to Renshiro to cover. Pasha checking every corner, but will he check the one where Renshiro sits? Shepard's hacked the cameras. Renshiro still hiding here. Do VP know about it? They've completely forgotten. They've left him to his own devices. And he's conjured up a storm for BDS. Shepard looking hopeless, a desperate spray with the DMR. It is a fickle affair, and Shiro looking for more, can't find anything. He goes down, but the damage is done, and headway has been made for BDS to steal away this round. Joystick to force down this diffuser. Dan must cover, but it doesn't matter because Leakerfax denied the plants and denied the round from VP.
Renshiro absolutely stole away the round from VP there. Pasha made such good headway into the top floor, making his entry work, getting 2, but they forgot they did not keep accountable the final player inside a Cocktail, and that was Renshiro looking for the retake onto the position that his teammate in Shaiko had fallen from.
Wow, BDS keeping pace once again, but by the skin of their teeth. Mandy, it doesn't take much for VP to check that corner, to drone that, to trade that, and it's a very different round. But the tension is once again building by the moment. Pasha has been on fire today, but he's also clearly having an impact on the VP mentor with his energy, and that energy goes both ways. The hype, but also the tension that prevents you from having those big moments, from clearing those corners and enabling Renshiro, gifting him these opportunities.
A very exciting series so far has been between these two teams, and only one round seems to separate them. It's been so back and forth, and I can only imagine it's going to continue this way. Virtus.Pro are not going to go down quietly.
No. Especially losing their own map pick. Down from 6-4, they made a comeback to OT, but were unable to deliver once they reached there. BDS now fighting from 2 rounds behind. They've made it just 1, and they're looking for breakpoint here with another defense going back downstairs. They have not yet successfully defended the kitchen.
Ooh, Joystick taking a little bit of damage. There's actually a player behind the hallway window, just on the top of red. It's Shaiko once again. Always in these opening engagements is this player, and where has Shepard been taking damage from? What is happening? It's so dangerous for Virtus.Pro to even make their approach into the building because there are bullets flying out of windows.
Yeah, I like the pace from BDS. They're looking for aggression wherever they can find it, and it is forcing VP to take an extra moment. Now, Shepard has switched over to this Ossa instead of the Montaigne. And unfortunately, with low HP, it does make it a much more difficult task to play that Ossa well. Map control seems to be the name of the game for VP, not looking for the fast and hard bakery hit that we saw from them prior, but here could be an opening kill. Joystick cannot land a single shot against Shaiko.
A dangerous game is Shaiko playing, but that's not to say he hasn't been playing a dangerous one the entire series long. Double soft breach for Virtus.Pro as they can start to tear up the floor through this mid-round. So the combination of Pasha and Always will make the bomb site a pretty bad time for the defenders on the other side, and it does mean that all of the anchors have now vacated the bomb site and are now playing adjacent to it instead. Inside of the hallways, inside of Bakery and in coat check, all the blind spots to the vertical, but here goes Shaiko on a potential retake up through the top floor.
Yeah, he's done a good job of clearing out the track stingers that Joystick has set on down. But when it comes to this mid to late round, it's the nades that will come into power.
Oh, that's really nice.
Beautiful usage of the Keeper barrier to block lots of lines of sight from Always. He has a nade to clear it, but it's not an easy nade to land.
This is very good from LeakyFak. He's been able to use the Azami to create a safe haven and a safe path for him to get back into the bomb site. Shaiko as well has doubled down on the pressure, taking the fights into the vertical above and has got a pick of his own. Joystick though can claim one back onto a Lems, who was being very pesky in the back towards this VIP area though. It is Brede. He's about to be caught in this double push.
Joystick needs to win this fight. Brede, he has one gas bait remaining, and Shaiko in support from Whiskey. He makes a peek as the Osa shield can be heard. The impact will claim Shepard's life. LeakyFak goes down for it, but not out as of yet. Joystick still low HP, but LeakyFak has been taken out. The shotgun blast ends Joystick's life. All up to Always. With 10 seconds to play and no diffuser in sight, 2 players to find, and he can't even find the first. BDS are pushing VP to their breaking point. 5-5 is the score.
And such a fantastic, proactive round from the players of BDS. They really made sure that even though the pre-execute phase was being built up for Virtus.Pro, even though Virtus.Pro were thinking about converting that mid-round, they shut that idea out of their heads completely. LeakyFak using the Azami barricade spontaneously through the mid-round created this safe haven for him to be on the bomb site. It gave another problem for Virtus.Pro to solve with only 30 seconds left to do it. And then off the back of that, Shaiko went for his own play as well, and Brede just did what he needed to do in the back of VIP to make things even harder for Virtus.Pro to convert that one.
BDS have somehow kept finding this perfect balance, Mandy, this fine line between aggression and patience. Waiting for VP when BDS have an advantage, but knowing the moments when those pressure points are weakest.
I mean, you look at that final kill count there, it was Renshiro. All of the Azami barricades that had been put down earlier on by LeakyFak and allowed him in, they were taken down by the end of it. There was no more safe haven on the bomb site, but it was too late. That's exactly right. And it was about LeakyFak finding the perfect timing to just put those Azami Kyuubi barricades back up and just make it so uncomfortable in the final couple seconds and force Virtus.Pro to make that problem solving happen with so much pressure on their shoulders to then go and make the execute work later on.
You want to talk about pressure, Mandy? VP are 2 rounds from being eliminated from the major. Like we said, it's been a long road for Virtus.Pro. They failed to make main stage in Copenhagen. And of course, they failed to make SI, as this roster of VP was only truly forged in December last year. This core, the Joystick, Shepard, Dan combo, of course, always part of that crowd as well. They have not been on a main stage since they were runners-up for the Six Invitational in 2022 in Sweden. And now it looks like they may have to wait a little longer, as Renshiro has found the opener. Pasha's gone down, and he has been instrumental to VP's success.
Really, this has been such a super series for Renshiro. He's made some massive plays to keep BDS fighting in this one. Lems almost beheaded off the back of that castle barricade being taken down, but he finds a little bit of safety in the pocket of shop.
Oh, and once again, the Kiva barriers support the players on the site and holding these power positions, but Joystick makes his way forward, takes a hell of a lot of damage, but he does take down a Lems, and that's what matters at the end of it. LeakyFak was looking for an aggressive play, but was not afforded an opportunity.
Impact out.
The rest of BDS have forfeited the piano side of the map for now. I think there's only 1 or 2 players left in the top floor. Yeah, there are, and that's the Azami and the Solace of Shaiko, just holding on to the long bar for a little bit longer, making sure they can deny the time and not gift it away for free. But it looks like Virtus.Pro were looking for a pivot into the ground floor, and it was shut out by LeakyFak.
This game has been such a show for LeakyFak. He has stepped up massively for the team. VP are looking desperate. There's not a lot of options now. They must jump in. Bride, I think he saw the cross. And guess who's coming up the red stairs for the flank from behind? It might not even matter. Pasha is taken down. Linkafak fires up as BDS find themselves on match points.
I can't believe the entire round we didn't even talk about the fact that it was mining dining. That was what the bomb site was. The entire time they went to the off-tertiary bomb site. And BDS knew that at some point Virtus.Pro off the back of the red control did have a think about hitting the bomb site. But the moment that they went for it, they were met by the resistance of the anchors of BDS. Bride was there. There was a crossfire with Linkafak, who was coming up for a flank of all things. And they could not even get a foot into the bomb site, into the building, without being taken down.
That marks 3 rounds in a row for BDS, Mandy. From a 3-5 deficit, they have brought it back. They have continued bringing the fire, and every player has made their presence felt. Linkafak and Shaiko, of course, the big fraggers that we've named, but Renshiro as well. My God, he's had his fair share of moments. 1 more round. It's the last thing you want to be thinking about if you're BDS right now. But it's the first thing on your mind.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Going back over to reading room as well. Reading room and dining, the bomb site that you would expect to go back to. But they pulled a bit of a curveball in the last round to claim themselves match point. It does look like a relatively similar setup, though, to their mining and dining defense. I think the big difference is that Linkafak has brought along the Goyo instead of bringing along the extra catch in the Jaeger. But aside from that, it's pretty much the same drill here for Alems, holding onto Piano by himself with the Azami barricades for as long as he can before looking for the fall-off later on. Ooh, dangerous.
Almost a kill. Pasha himself knows how deadly these jump outs and peeks from these windows can be. He found a 2K, a remarkable one at that, earlier. Now on the attack, he has to conjure some confidence because VP are looking a shell of their former selves. They found the first 2 rounds of attack in this half, and since then, there has been nothing in their favor.
Oh man, if the first pick somehow went to Linkafak, still taking the duel to Pasha. Pasha, mate, do not make me any more anxious than I already am. You have the diffuser in your hands, and you're taking the duel onto Linkafak down blue, who's had a super game. Anyway, Dan, he's doing the thing that I expected him to do, and that's to take down some of these Azami barricades and set up going down inside a shot, forcing the defenders back and creating an in onto the map for Virtus.Pro.
Well, the onus is on VP here to find an in onto the map, let alone the bomb site, which is downstairs in Reading, which has been the most successful bomb site for defense in this map thus far. BDS handily taking it. VP having a few rounds of their own. Shaiko still holds on to Cocktail. Once again, with this holographic sight, he is so deadly in these long-range engagements, but I fear that VP may have been too slow in this attack. This may be too little and far too late.
They are being very cautious, but it's not over just yet. They have a couple options here. If they want to make... Oh, okay. Don't die, Dan. Do not die just yet. There are so many players that have been at the hands of Linkafak, but finally he's going to be the one to be taken down from Joystick. They have a couple options here. Do they want to take full vertical control, make use of the sledge, and then translate it? Or do they just want to go down into train? Off the back of getting the pick from Linkafak, they can certainly have a think about the ground floor if they want to, but always is still going to make use of the sledgehammer. But the time is ticking away. There are only 40 seconds for them to make their decision.
It's exactly where you want to be for Virtus.Pro. A numbers advantage, vertical superiority, and pressure onto the bomb site. Another pick, goes begging. Bride has survived.
I think there's a flank happening at the moment. Yes, Joystick is coming down the white stairs, but there's also a tussle going down on the red stairs as well with Dan, who's trying to keep them at bay. I am a little worried here for Virtus.Pro as the final 18 seconds go by and Dan's going to shut down the flank.
But Shaiko from down in hell gives VP hell. It's all up to Bride. He might be able to clutch this, as Pasha has to force the diffuser. The clutch king for BDS needs to step up. Dan shuts him down. We are not done yet. For a second map in a row, overtime is required.
And thank goodness for that. Virtus.Pro, you do not want to go down without a conversation to BDS. That was a scary round to Virtus.Pro. They got the vertical pressure that they needed. They had what they needed to do to then go and translate it down into the ground floor. And then magic started happening from BDS. There were people going for flanks. There were people like throwing C4s up through the floor. BD came up through white stairs. Just the moment that the pre-execute chaos came through, BDS jumped in on that energy and they tried to make it work. But Virtus.Pro, they kept their composure, they kept it cool, calm, collected, and somehow they were able to put it out. Somehow Dan, with low HP and only 16 seconds left, is still prone on red stairs. Like, what is going on there?
Great question. BDS got desperate in that late round. When they had the advantage in the early round, they took their foot off the gas. They let VP lap up the map control and make up for a very slow and meager early round by expediting their mid-round progress and forcing through an execute in the late. BDS now, well, they don't have the momentum that they had after 3 defenses in a row, but they do have that defensive side once again, which I got to admit has not necessarily been favored, Mandy. This has been a perfect 6 round of attack, 6 round of defense half.
I'm so nervous. The more that this game goes on, the more anxious I think I feel watching it. But alas, it is down into the basement. And I think if there is any bomb site that BDS looks really solid on, it was this basement bomb site. The last time that we saw Virtus.Pro look for the execute from the ground or from the second floor into the first floor, they looked so uncomfortable against the motions that BDS brought in to disrupt that.
First round of overtime, and it's so hard to pick who has the advantage here. Once again, VP exhibit extremely slow early rounds as they measure once, twice, 3 times before making their incision. Joystick has made his way into the building. It's on the top floor bar, a drone ahead of him on this gridlock. He can set up flank watch, but most importantly, he needs to take this map control so the rest of the team can engage the vertical play.
I think the roam presence is gone as well for BDS. There were 2 players on the second floor in the form of Shaiko and LeakyFak, but they decided to think the better of it and fell off. There is 1 minute 40 seconds left to go, so if they do want to get this mid-round vertical pressure working for them, they can. But the play that I'm watching out for is LeakyFak here in this mid-round, right? At what point does LeakyFak use the... I'm just saying, all 5 keeper barricades, by the way, in his hands at the moment. At what point does LeakyFak make his move?
It's all about that patience. He's just looking to contest for now. Doesn't want to overcommit as of yet. He wants to wait for VP to desperately need those lines of sight before he denies them. Shaiko's got all kinds of information on the Hibana as well above. A little bit confused as to what that might mean.
That's actually, that's important, because getting the Hibana onto the hard Rio means that there can't be a rotation in through the double door, right? Pasha or Shepard, I can't believe who it is, can't remember who it is, now has an angle actually onto this double door. So if LeakyFak wants to make the same pathing work twice, he's going to feel much more uncomfortable doing it. A nade has been sent through that angle and he will be taken down. And with 40 seconds left to go, Virtus.Pro, they are going to press this attack. Shepard, he's down and in on the bomb site.
Perfect opportunity now as the gas may choke out this attack. Another valiant effort from Renshiro. There's been many of those this game that BDS must retake from Whiskey. As Shepard uncovered, 1 goes down, a second player there. Pasha's fired once again for VP as map point for the first time on Kafe is in their favor.
That was a great adaptation there from VP. They knew that last time what really cut away their attack in half was having to dislodge all those Azami barricades a second time in the rounds. And LeakyFak, he tried to do the same thing again. He held all 5 of them in his pocket, but this time around, Virtus.Pro had all the redundancy that they needed to make sure that that couldn't happen. They had the vertical angle open through the hallway, like the Hibana barricades, I mean, the Hibana pellets that went off inside of the hallway, down through the vertical, that's where you can see the double door, right? Not only that, but they even sent down the Capital Bolt to make sure the rotation couldn't come through, and they even sent a grenade through it as well. So any disruption that LeakyFak tried to do in that mid-round to pre-execute phase couldn't happen. And then from there on out, they were able to translate it off the back of the rest of the utility that aided the execute. And it was super nice from Virtus.Pro to look for an adaptation like that and land it.
Well, it's nice to see a bit of humor as well coming out in such a tense moment. Yeah, they have map point before them. But BDS have taken their tactical timeout now. VP took it after 3 rounds. Well, in fact, before the 3rd round. It was just 2 rounds into the game that they decided to make it. And now BDS reply with theirs at the most desperate moment.
For potentially the final round of the map, Virtus.Pro are going to take us all the way into the top floor. Once again, not changing up their strategy too much. Doesn't really seem to be the Virtus.Pro way, and they're leaning into the Castle Azami setup inside of Piano to meet the resistance of BDS on the other side. Now, last time we saw BDS attack this, they've sort of got 2 ways of dealing with this, right? They either go for the Kali and then actually break it down, or as of recent, they've now brought along 3 sets of grenades in Leaky Back, Shiko, and Renshiro, where they've tried to inject themselves into the 2nd floor, send them up, and then dislodge the defenders from there. It does seem like they are going to stick that idea, and that will mean that we really need to pay attention to the 1st and 2nd floors to see if they can get a free way in.
I think it's going to be easy though. VP have such a setup on this top floor.
Going live.
Wow, it feels like a damn long time since Virtus.Pro were on their defenses. Pasha made an amazing jump out work previously on this side. And you said it, Likafak is down in below with his nades in pocket.
The adaptation that Virtus.Pro might have here is that last time they had no catch. This time they have both Aruni and Jaeger. And if they have the Aruni gates in the right spot to protect all these players inside of Cocktail, it could be really tough for BDS to land these grenades.
What is the play from BDS here? Looking to clear utility piece by piece. They've actually managed to rappel into Piano now and found the opening pick for Alems. A deep shot with the DMR. And a great start for BDS.
He's found a safe haven as well behind this keeper barricade. Just a small angle as Joystick is going to reposition one of his ADSs. Oh, mate, there's a guy right below you. He's got absolutely no idea. Leaky Back from down below is going to send one of those up nades and claim yet another one for BDS. And a 3rd through the floor onto Pasha. This man is unstoppable in this round.
Another pick for Alems goes begging. Dan falls back, but low HP may well cost him in the next engagement. Could it be a flawless round for BDS to guarantee another match point? Shepard lost and alone. Bride puts the final bullet in his skull. And another series point awaits for BDS.
And another superhero round as well from Leaky Fack. Feels like this man has been the name on our tongues the entire series. Down from below, sends a grenade up, and takes the engagement through the vertical. Off the back of Alems getting his entry as well. Just left Virtus.Pro scrambling on the defense. It was a 5-on-2 at that point. 3 picks not going their way, completely untraded.
Oh, VP, you can't let opportunities like that go begging. 3-3 looked like a good first half for BDS, but then 3 rounds of defense in a row put VP once again in a position where they were on the verge of elimination. They have staved off 3 match points so far in this series. They will have to do so a 4th time to push us to Clubhouse as a deciding map.
Back into the top floor for the final round of the map and potentially the final round of the series for BDS. Similar strategy, but small change. No castle, only Azami for BDS, not leaning into fully holding on to Piano. They just want to make it a little frustrating to walk their way on in. But I suppose a difference between the way that we see BDS play the Azami to Virtus.Pro is that they don't dedicate that many Azami barricades to like Piano itself. A lot of the Azami barricades then get pulled back and played inside of like white hallway, making sure they can't get cut off by the white window, for example. So I can't imagine that Alems is going to dedicate too many more keeper barricades than like maybe this, maybe one more to allow him to play safely here. But then he's still got 2 for later on.
Wow, Always has had such a rough game. I noticed it a few rounds ago, but it looks even worse now. 0 kills and 9 deaths. Has his impact been felt? Likely so. He is an instrumental support player on this roster, but these 7-7 match point rounds are won on the most minute of details, and sometimes that means landing your shot. Everyone will need to do that when they are called upon.
Shaiko playing in Shaiko's spot. On the Solus is looking for an engagement out onto the skylight, but he's not going to see anyone over there. Alems, on the other hand, is feeling a little bit of the resistance as some of those ranged explosives do go off. Joystick and Dan are going to double down to clear out the Azami Fortress inside of Piano. Now, my question here for Alems is he going to double down on the pixel position, or does he then fall off from here? It seems like he's placed that second Azami barricade onto the little coffee table inside of the couches, so it does seem like BDS do want to hold on to this for a little bit longer.
Leak Effect so tempted. Oh, always. What's going on there? That's not a good look.
He's having a rough game, man. I mean,
He's
just
really
looking at me, he's like,
struggling.
man, that's not so good. But look, it's the final rounds. This is where he needs to have his impact felt. Finally, Red says control for Virtus.Pro, but where do they go from here? The top floor still very much handily for BDS, and Shaiko's going to unlock the equation.
How does he keep landing these long-range gunfights in these tight positions? Shepard's down on the floor as well. Joystick, if there's any time for the Cyborg to engage, it's right now.
They've run out of options, Virtus.Pro. They really don't have any more hard breach to deal with the setup that's going on inside of Freezer and Backstore. So the defenders there are going to feel safe, but here goes Always on his play in through the repellent, and Ren Shiro, though, is going to claim one back.
That's one for you, Always, but you need a hell of a lot more than that. A second kill. He comes up clutch when he is required. Pasha goes in deep, but he falls. Brede holds on to his position once again. Shepard looking to duel him. Mark 14 in hand. Brede with the pistol, looking for something, anything that could bring this game over the line. Double headshots! Major champions a year ago. Gone missing from Copenhagen. They rise again to fly the French flag in the USA. BDS are going to the finals!
And when it really mattered most, they were able to claim their victory. You have to admire the tenacity of this team. When the pressure is on, when everything is on the line, they can win it out in 2-0 fashion.
It has been 4 years since Joystick, Dan, and Shepard raised the trophy, and they will have to wait a little bit longer. The French have a team onto the main stage, and perhaps a second later today. A hard-fought victory, double overtimes, but at 2-0. It shows that BDS indeed are one of the best teams, if not the greatest team in Europe at the moment. A sigh of relief, though, as that was got to be one of the most stressful games we have seen in a damn long time.
Oh, man, yeah. I mean, for Brede especially, those final 3 kills, he was inside of Backstore, and he knew that he was the core of the defense there. It was just such an incredible round from him to close it out with a 3K. 2 headshots with the pistol as well. I mean, you couldn't get any more flashy than that.
Yeah, he was in a pinch and he whips out the pistol and he says, look, it's all over. It's time for BDS to show what we're really worth, and they will go to that main stage. Not in the worst of seedings as well. VP have been eliminated from the tournament. That is it. They are done. Shepard, Joystick, they will be flying home on the next flight that we can get. As for BDS, a new hope rises. They missed out in Copenhagen. 6 Invitational is still possible, and we've got an interview.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it. It is time to welcome our 6th quarterfinalist to the Atlanta Major. It's BDS. Twice now, VP have been gate-kept from a major stage, both by European teams, and this time, the French were the ones to do it. Alems, what on earth are you feeling right now?
To be honest, I'm speechless. It was an amazing match. I can barely speak right now, but I'm so happy.
Alems, we heard the emotion from you guys. You know, we saw how much you guys were communicating throughout these 2 really close maps. I want to take you back to Consulate for a moment. You guys lost back-to-back rounds, which forced you to go into overtime. It felt like there was a lot of conversations going on there. What were you guys talking about heading into overtime, first on Consulate?
To be honest, Consulate is a map we prepared for this tournament. A lot of team in Europe knows about it because we practice them. Team that unfortunately didn't qualify, but like we really prepare Consulate for this tournament. We plan to like play Consulate on the playoff. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we had a bad start on the Swiss round, so we had to take the card right now because even though it's like 6 months of nothing, yeah. So it works for nothing. So we go, let's go Consulate. Sonics picked it. No, I mean it was the decider map versus Sonics yesterday. We were pretty confident because we knew what they were doing, but they didn't. So I think we had kind of an advantage on it. And against Virtus.Pro, it's a kind of team that we play a lot, practice-wise, in Europe, obviously. And we play Consulate a few times.
Yeah.
And it was all the time back and back. Like they won the scrim, we won. They found new strategies. We said, oh, it's nice. And then the next scrim, we bring something else, and oh, it's nice. So it's like a share between the two teams. And today we were confident on it because, like I said, we prepared it and we are good on it. But we wanted to bring something that they never see. And I think like it works. Like on attack, especially, it works.
Yeah, well, it was a masterclass on Consulate. You guys then take it to Kafe. It's your pick. Map you guys have played a lot. Very comfortable here. One operator that you bring a lot on this map is the Kali, right? We see this a lot from you. You want to talk a little bit about why you like this operator so much and what it adds to your guys' attacks?
So Kali is very strong. So the main reason of picking Kali is because it's very strong against Azami setup. Because in my mind, Kali is underrated. Underrated.
Underrated. Yeah.
Is underrated because she has 4 things to destroy. It's like Ash 2.0 basically, but with a better gun, as I will say. But yeah, it's strong against Azami setup, and in practice, we sometimes take Kali because, you know, in practice, some teams sometimes are a bit too aggressive. So it's a good operator to punish those picks. And we said, oh, Kali is a great operator. We tried the different people on this operator. The two main people that play the Kali, mainly it's Renshiro and me. And yeah, it's one of our pick on Kafe, but we got, like you said, it's one of our best maps, so it's our pick. So we got a lot more things that we can do on the map. Kali is one of them, but yes, we have others.
All right, well, you guys are going to main stage. It'll be a couple days before you play another game, but you finally got through the slog. You're on your way. Is there anything else you want to say to the fans before we let you go, dude?
Yeah, thanks to all the fans that are supporting us, the English-speaking fans. Thanks a lot. To be honest, we came very confident in this tournament. We had a lot of trouble during the Swiss round, but at the end of the day, we managed to put it back in the best of threes. And thanks to all the people that supporting us through the hard times, the 2 losses we got, for example. So thanks you a lot for that. And for the French speaking, can I?
Go ahead.
Merci à tous ceux qui nous soutiennent, les gars. Vraiment, on se bat tous les jours au Major, c'est grâce à vous. C'est vraiment pas évident parce que c'est de la LAN et il y a énormément de surprises. Mais en tout cas, on voit tous vos messages. Ça nous donne énormément de boost, de force. Donc voilà, merci infiniment. On vous fait plein de bisous et on se donne rendez-vous pour les playoffs. J'espère que vous nous soutiendrez comme vous le faites déjà si bien. Et voilà, BDS Power.
All right, Jesse, I will expect a full translation of that in a hot second.
Sure.
Lems, thanks a lot again. GG's, congratulations. And now BDS are heading to main stage at the expense, unfortunately, of Virtus.Pro, coming really, really close for 2 consecutive majors in a row, all the way to the last round of the Swiss stage before they are unfortunately going home. We should talk to Dan real fast because, dude, we've not been able to talk to you yet. I'm sorry that it's happening all the way at the back end of a tournament. Both of those maps were really, really close. Do you think there's one particular thing that just went wrong for you guys today?
Yeah, unlucky. Happens.
Yeah, it happens.
First map was unlucky, second map was even more unlucky. That's it.
Sure.
And the bracket overall, unlucky.
Yeah.
Like nothing changed.
Got you.
So we've seen you at 2 international tournaments now, Copenhagen and at Atlanta. And people said about your roster, especially when he was with Empire, that you came alive on LAN, but it's not quite gone right. What do you think has been your biggest issues at these tournaments?
I think we just lost the idea of how to play LAN during that 1 year. Then we were not playing.
Yep.
And it's hard to remember it while playing only 6 games in whole year.
Yeah.
It's really hard for us. I mean, it's better, I think, if we qualify for the last chance qualifier next time.
Sure. So you have more games to play that time. Yeah. So this is the second time you've been back to LAN since the year-long break.
Yeah.
But the fact that you guys are back here after so long spent on the shelf, that's got to feel really good in some aspects, right? How proud are you of this team for what they've been able to accomplish, even if it's not the result you wanted?
I still love my teammates. I think we played really well today and better, but just not today, I guess. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. And hey, there always will be a next time. You're at least going to the 6th Invitational.
Yeah.
That is something to look forward to.
I hope there will be LAN build in practice rooms for Invitational. Otherwise,
Yeah, I get what you mean. Anything else you want to say to the fans before we let you go, man?
Thanks to everyone for the support. Sorry for disappointment. We will try our best to become the best team at the Invitational.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dan. Obviously, for VP, not the way you want things to go out, but we still appreciate you being here all the same and giving your best.
Thank you.
All right. That is it for this part, this particular game of round 5 of the Swiss stage. It was a good series nonetheless. I think for BDS, you're happy to escape that series given how close the score lines for both maps were, but for VP, on the flip side, because of how close things were, that is heartbreak considering how close they both were.
It's tough too because it's back-to-back majors where they come in as arguably heavy favorites, right? They dominate the European League and then they just can't make it through the Swiss stage. Feels like a bit of a curse coming through from Virtus.Pro. Obviously, they'll have one more chance throughout the season. The 6th Invitational comes up next for them, but ultimately their run in Atlanta ends short.
Yeah, I suppose that is the good news. At least they've got 6 Invitational coming up. If you're going to fail, you might as well do it at the 2 majors. They qualified for 6 Invitational. They was pretty much the very first team qualified, if I remember correctly. So, you know, this team will be back. They've got a lot of quality. They played 2 6 Invitational finals, for Christ's sake. So, you know, we will see them. And I think Danny's kind of right. It was a bit of an unlucky day. I think there was a couple of rounds that go other ways. You know, there's a couple of external factors that obviously didn't help. That very, 14th round there was not the best, having joystick AFK for half of it. And it happens, right? At times, that's just what happens. And yeah, but I did think BDS did just about enough. I think they got the strategy right, the individual performances right. We saw, Leakfact map 1, we saw Shake on map 2, and that's what BDS have, is they do have that good, solid, fundamental strategy, and then the guys that can pop off on top